So a quick recap of the case right now for anyone just tuning in. Jessica and Daniel Groves are parents to a little baby Dylan, and they are charged in his death. Dylan was discovered in the bottom of a well with serious injuries. The parents initially claimed it was an accident, and just a fun tidbit is Jessica initially pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, given her actions and the evidence of intent to conceal the body. The judge found her competent to stand trial, so then she just pleaded not guilty. And from all the details we heard yesterday, which were pretty intense, and the visual images that they did end up showing, there was definitely intent to conceal and hide the body, which shows that they knew their actions were wrong. To plead reason of insanity, one of the key factors is you don't know your actions are wrong. All right, so we're going to dive right into the detective's testimony, and again, that'll be broken up with some footage of the interrogation and the jail call.
Hutchinson, you may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, if you would, introduce yourself to the jury and spell your last name for our record.
Okay, my name is Jody Conkle, Conkel.
Where are you currently employed?
A detective with the Scioto County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And how long have you been employed with the Scioto County Sheriff's Office?
This March will be 27 years.
Okay. As a detective at the Scioto County Sheriff's Office, what are some of your job duties?
I have a lot of job duties. There's 4 detectives, so we're broken up into areas. So whatever area we have, we handle anything that's a felony. It could be anything from a felony theft, B&E, burglary, shooting, stabbing. Also, 1 week out of the month, we're on call, so we handle everything, anything that may come in. So it could be anything from writing reports, collecting evidence, doing interviews, crime scene, search warrants, whatever arises. On top of that, I handle all the sex crimes for the whole entire county.
Okay. How long have you been a detective at the Sheriff's Office?
I believe approximately 18 years.
Okay. 18 out of the 27?
I believe so, give or take a little bit.
Okay. Let me direct your attention to June 2019. Did you have an opportunity to assist in the investigation of defendants Daniel and Jessica Groves?
Yes, I did.
Okay. How did you become involved in that investigation?
I actually was at home. That day I was not scheduled at the office. I actually was working on the new bypass. And I've been home approximately about an hour when my boss, Captain John Murphy, called me and told me we had a missing child case. That's when I first learned of it, and I needed to come to the office.
Okay. And did you respond to the Sheriff's Office from your home?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What was your role to be at that point?
So at this point, I was to do the interviews. They were going to be bringing her in, and that I would start with her. So at this point, I kind of went into it blind. A lot of times when we have cases, you kind of have like the outline of a case, what's going on. At this point, all I knew was their child was missing. That's the only information I had at this time.
Okay. And explain to the jury how you go about interrogating a suspect when you don't have that kind of information, or what kind of interrogation tactics you use during an interrogation.
Okay, so there's different things. It depends on the situation, but this, it's kind of like I'm fishing. The best way to describe it is because at this point, I don't know where the child is, if the child is dead, alive. I know nothing. So at this point, I have no children's services reports. I have no reports from anybody. So I'll just go in and talk and try to figure out what's going on, where the child may be. I had recently just came off a case very similar that I assisted the Portsmouth Police Department with. So in the back of my mind, I thought it could end bad.
Okay. You thought it could end bad?
Yes.
Okay. Who did you interview first?
Jessica.
Okay. If you would, describe to the members of the jury what her demeanor and appearance is as you see her there at the Sheriff's Office.
Very standoffish, cold, didn't really want to talk to me, kind of annoyed.
Were you making an effort to gain information about defendant Daniel Groves' whereabouts from her?
Absolutely.
Okay. And was she willing to provide you information about his whereabouts?
No, she said she had no idea where he was at.
Okay. Were you seeking to obtain information about baby Dylan's whereabouts?
Yeah, that was at that point, it was my main priority is, where is this child? Is he okay? Is he somewhere where we can go get him?
What did she tell you about where baby Dylan might be?
She told me she had no idea because Children's Services had picked him up, along with her other child.
Okay. In your conversation with her, does she indicate what his well-being was?
Yeah, she said as far as she knows, he's fine.
Were you able to ascertain whether or not Children's Services had come and picked that baby up?
Yes, they had not.
Okay. Were you able to ascertain who Children's Services had placed that baby with? Was it both parents, one parent?
And throughout my investigation, I learned that Children's Services had placed him with the father only.
Okay. And did you gain some of that information through defendant Jessica Groves?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did she tell you where she was supposed to be living during this time frame?
Yeah, basically here, there, everywhere.
Okay.
Not in the home.
She acknowledged she was not supposed to be living in the home.
That is correct.
Okay. Did she express to you any medical or health concerns that could have harmed the baby?
No, as far as she knew, he was healthy.
Did you have a conversation with Jessica Groves about whether or not she was using illegal drugs at that time?
Yes, she denied all drug use.
Who did you interview after that?
Daniel.
Okay. Before we get there, so at the time you're interviewing defendant Jessica Groves, Daniel Groves is not in custody, is that right?
That is correct.
Where is he, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, he's still inside of the trailer on Mount Hope.
Okay. So at some point, they do bring him to you?
That is correct.
Okay. What did he initially tell you about the whereabouts of baby Dylan?
Children's Services had came and picked him up.
Okay. Describe to the jury his demeanor and his appearance as you see him in there.
Daniel appeared to be dope sick. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but a person who maybe has been using illegal drugs and they haven't had some recently, or they're coming down off of it, they're sick, they moan, they groan. At one point when I was speaking to him, he actually laid on the floor and was groaning and passing gas.
Does he admit to you that he's dope sick?
Yes, he does.
Okay. Was there a time during that first interview when he admitted to you that baby Dylan was dead?
Yes, there was.
Okay. What did he tell you happened?
He initially told me that he found him in the crib, which is more described as like a pack and play type thing to me. Just found him in there deceased.
Okay. And he said he found him?
That is correct.
Okay. Did he deny that anybody had harmed him?
That is correct. He said nobody had touched him or harmed him.
Did he express during that interview any medical or health concerns prior to finding the baby dead?
No, that he was absolutely fine.
Did you attempt after that to speak to defendant Jessica Groves further?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what was the nature of that?
To get more information, to find out, after I talked to him, I'm trying to gather more information. She didn't want to talk, very closed off and cold.
Okay, she's not answering you.
Right, not answering any questions, yes.
Okay. Did you use any interrogation tactics to try to get her to respond to you?
Yeah, so when we're interviewing people, and we all have different ways we do things, you try to relate with them, tell them like personal stuff that's happened in your life and things you've went through. And, most people that we deal with, the majority of them, unfortunately, they're very deceptive. They do not tell us the truth. So, you have to use different interrogation skills as far as, maybe tell someone, well, he told me this and she told me this or whatever. And that's just something we use when we're interrogating people.
Okay, so not necessarily everything you're saying in there is truthful either.
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
Sneaky, I guess.
Did you have an opportunity to show her a photograph of the baby?
Yes, I actually had pictures of baby Dylan, and I tried to show her that to see if I could get some kind of response to get her to open up. She refused to look at it, very cold, and would not look at it.
Was she crying?
No.
In response to your conversations with the two of them on June 10th, what did you do?
So after talking to them, myself, Captain John Murphy, Detective Matt Spencer, multiple people, along with K-9 dogs, which were brought in out of county, drug task force. We took Daniel out there to where he told me that Dylan's body would be, and we searched for hours. The area we were in, it was kind of up and down, hilly area. There was a creek that ran through. We were everywhere searching there, multiple people. We searched there and around the residence.
Okay. When you went out there, did you have information about what type of items you might be looking for?
Yes, he had told me that the baby was in some type of container. He couldn't remember what type of container. Told me that's where he put it, kind of, what the baby might be wearing, because, there should be stuff there. Even I've had other cases where, a body's been left out. Even if animals would, eat on a body or drag stuff off, you always find something. We found nothing.
Okay. You found nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. Were you involved in a consent search of the Groves family home?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And did you collect any items from that home?
Yes. So I was out there along with my boss and some other detectives. Daniel was with me. He signed a consent to search. And I collected I don't know if you want to call it a crib. To me, it looks like a pack and play out of the living room. Some notes, a calendar, just miscellaneous stuff. So, very few baby items that I found, but stuff like that.
Okay. Let me hand you what's previously been marked as State's Exhibits 23, 22, and 23 for identification. Let's go. Oh. Ma'am, do you recognize those items?
Yes, these are pictures of baby Dylan that were inside the residence that I actually took photographs while inside the residence at their trailer.
Okay. And why did you take these photographs?
I took those photographs because that was the only two photographs that I could find inside the house of baby Dylan. One, so we would know what he looked like, and two, if we would need it for anything.
So if you'll look up on the screen there, is that a photograph that you recognize?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And was that one of the photographs you took a photograph of at the residence?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And then State's Exhibit 22. What about State's Exhibit 23?
Yes, that is another photograph of baby Dylan that I took a picture of while at the residence.
When you found nothing out there, did you go back and talk to either defendant?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Who did you talk to first? Before we get there, this whole search that you mentioned that went on for hours with the dogs, would that have been on June 11th?
Yes, that would be the 11th.
Okay. And then on June 12th, you would have had an opportunity to interview the defendants again?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Who did you interview first?
I believe on the 12th that it was maybe Jessica. I'm not sure. Hold on. Daniel.
Okay. During that conversation, does defendant Groves admit to you that the story about CPS was a lie?
Yes, he does.
Okay. Does he deny that he lied about the location of the baby's body?
That is correct. He told me that that was the location of the baby. His stories kept changing so much, it was kind of hard to keep up, but yes, he did deny that.
Okay. And he repeatedly asked to speak to his wife, is that correct?
Yes, he wanted to speak to Jessica, was worried about her well-being, and wanted to make sure she was okay.
Did you accommodate that request?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Are these video interviews that you conduct at the sheriff's office recorded?
Yes, they are. Every interview I do in the office is recorded from start to finish.
Okay, video and audio.
That is correct, yes.
Okay. So let me hand you what's going to be marked as State's Exhibit. $75 for identification. Do you recognize the item I've just handed you?
Yes, this is a copy of the meeting where I allowed Daniel and Jessica to talk inside of our interview room.
Okay. That also, you said, starts out with you talking to Daniel?
Yes, I started out talking to Daniel, and like I said, he was very concerned about her and if she was doing okay. He wanted to speak to her. I told him that if she wanted to speak, you know, there's no expectation of privacy in the jail. So I'm like,
Let me interrupt you just for a second. Have you had an opportunity to review all these interviews?
yes, I have.
Okay. And you provided those copies to the Office of the Prosecuting Attorney?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Is that a true and accurate representation of your interviews out there that day?
That is accurate, yes.
And the conversation between the two defendants?
Yes.
Okay. While the defendants are in the interview room together, where are you?
Okay, while they're in the interview room together, they're in there. We also have a viewing room, so it's right beside it, so we can actually watch it live. So if we've got someone in there, or say another detective's doing an interview, we can sit there and watch, so we can see it and we can hear it.
Let me refer you to the screen, ask you if you recognize this video that hopefully will pop up. I promised the judge that I tested this out while you were gone. Detective Humpel, do you recognize what's up there on the screen?
Yes, I do. Anytime we have a recording on our machine, that's how it looks when it's burnt onto a disc.
Okay. And so this is the date and time that you would have conducted that interview?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Do you recognize the individual on the screen there?
Yes, that is Daniel Groves.
Okay. And is this the same interview that you would have conducted that day that you reviewed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, we might approach the bench.
May approach. Gentlemen, sorry we're continuing to deal with those legal issues from earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, in this case, you will hear testimony concerning a recording that was made in this matter. You will also hear a portion of, audio portion of a DVD and have a listening aid of that recording. You are instructed that the listening aid in this case is merely an aid to facilitate listening. The evidence consists of the recording itself. The listening aid is provided to you only for the purpose of helping you understand the recording. If you find they do help you. If you find there's a difference or discrepancy between the listening aid and the recording, you are to rely only on the recording. Again, if you found any difference between the recording and the listening aid, you should disregard the listening aid and use your judgment as to what was said. Now, ladies and gentlemen, also during the playing of this recording, there are times where Ms. Hutchinson is going to pause or skip over portions of that recording. That is because some of the matter is irrelevant to the issues at hand, and some of the matters, and also for expediency in playing through this tape. So if you're wondering why she's skipping through portions of it, it's because we've discussed it, the lawyers and I've approved it that way. Ms. Hutchinson, are you ready to proceed?
Judge, if we might approach the bench just for...
better?
A little bit.
Okay. Now read your rights again. You have the right permit?
Detective Conkle, you just asked him if he was feeling better. What was that in reference to?
Because he was very sick and they gave him some stuff in the jail to make him feel better, to help it. It's easier. It doesn't make it go away, but it helps you come down off the drugs and you're not as sick.
Do you know what that consists of over there?
Yeah, basically what it is, it's motion sickness, and I'm not a physician or don't have a legal name, but it's motion sickness medication along with Imodium. It just makes it easier on them.
Okay. Is that common practice over at the jail? If they get
Yes.
an inmate that requests it and is withdrawing?
Yes, it is.
Silent, anything you say may be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have one present with you while you are being questioned. You cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before you question if you wish.
Understand that? I know you're sick of hearing it, but I'm sorry. What's going on?
I mean,
They said you want to talk to me?
well, when am I gonna get moving to the range?
Oh, you're not on the range yet?
No, they
Okay.
help me up there. And every time I ask him, he says it's up to you. And I told him that you told him yesterday I was good to go back there.
Yeah, I did. I told him right in front of you. I'll see what the holdup is at and I'll make that happen. Do you think, are you sure that's where you put it? Because like I said, we've still got people out there looking and haven't found nothing just because we want to validate your story that you
Yeah,
are.
I'm serious.
Okay.
I wouldn't, trust me, I wouldn't even tell you. I wouldn't even told you nothing if I wasn't gonna tell you.
Well, and that's what I said
I
too.
would not even, I would not even told you that.
Okay, and you don't,
Why would I tell you that and not tell you the truth? I mean,
Right.
What would it benefit me?
no, and that's what I
It wouldn't
said.
benefit me.
Well, and you said that stone thing she bought for her mom? When did her mom pass away?
It's 7 years ago now.
Oh, she just now bought it?
No, it was actually on like an easel thing.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
And the thing tore up, and we just took the
Okay.
stone off of it. Yeah.
Okay. And you didn't bury it or anything?
No,
Okay.
no,
We're just trying to, because, if we can find something, it's going to validate your story that,
yeah. And trust me, like I said, I wouldn't even said nothing if I wasn't gonna say it.
No, I know, and that's what I said,
Why
because,
would I even tell you if I wasn't gonna tell you where he's at? I mean, how that would benefit me? You know?
right, yeah.
Detective Conkle, you're in there saying, yeah, that's what I said, when you're asking him, are you sure that's where you took the baby? And he's saying, I wouldn't have told you something like that. Do you believe at that time that he's being honest with you?
No, I do not believe he's being honest.
Okay, why are you saying that to him?
Why am I saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to, get him to tell me the truth. Where is this baby? Where is it at? To see, if his story stays the same, if it changes, just to get more information. Oh, I know, and that's what I said, and we drug you out there in the middle of nowhere, but I just wanted to make sure. How big is that? How far does that go up in there, that property?
Yeah, it just goes up to the top of the hill, and then on the other side of the hill, they're cutting timber.
Okay.
And they've been cutting timber.
And all that state property out there?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, there's a lot of state property in there.
okay. And I think you're going to court for arraignment tomorrow, 10 o'clock, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I went to video court this morning.
Okay, I didn't know if you knew or not, so, because I know you've been kind of sick, so I want to make sure you was up to speed on
When are we
that.
gonna talk to Jessica?
Well, you're going to be in court together tomorrow for sure, I know that, and I'll ask him about that. And this main thing, let's get you put on the range, because I thought you was already there. I don't know why he didn't do that. Who did we talk to when I brought you back in
That
yesterday?
woman, that girl, the black-haired girl. And she talked to, I think she said Carter, and she said that Carter said, leave me there. And that night, because you still wanted me left up there.
No.
And I told her, I said, well,
Let me see.
I said, he told you right now. She
Is there a
said,
reason he's still up front?
I just keep him up there until I heard otherwise.
Okay, well, when I brought him back, you were already gone. I told him that he could be put on the range.
I'll talk to Carter then.
About getting him, okay. He's gonna talk to Carter about getting him put there. Because I didn't, it's the first I heard, I just assumed you were back on the range. I didn't know any different. Well, that's gonna happen. Can you think of anything, any place we would, that land better than we do?
no, I wouldn't, trust me, I'm surprised you guys didn't eat there.
Yeah, well, you seem like you got emotional
I
when you
did.
got.
It tore me up. It did. That's why I got sick and everything.
And the only people that knew
Me and Jessica.
you and Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nobody else. Man, we didn't tell.
You didn't take Daniel with you, or?
No, he didn't even know.
Okay.
He didn't even know.
Okay, that makes sense. whose idea was it to stick to the story about children's service picked him up? That's the same story Jessica gave me at first too.
That's just what we had came up with. I don't know. It's stupid, you know what I mean?
Right.
You just have to be in that position.
Oh no, I understand.
You do. I mean,
Right.
I can't sit here and tell you why we did that. I don't, because you just have to be in that position. I mean.
Right. Oh no. I mean, I respect the fact that you're being honest. I told you
I
that.
am, Jay. I mean, trust me, I'm being completely honest with you. I am. I want to be because I want, I want this over with. I mean,
Right.
I do. I want it over with, and so we move on with our life.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I'm out there looking nonstop, hoping because if you said that he died just for no reason, like medical or something you don't know, we're going to be able to tell that from that, which is going to help you. You sure what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I want to for sure find him. I'm doing everything in my power. So like I said, we can put.
So why ain't I been able to see Jessica?
I don't know. I didn't even know you were still up front. I don't know. Like I said,
Yeah.
you just now told me you were still up front.
Yesterday when we got ready to leave, you told me when we got one.
You know what? You forgot to remind me. If you'd remind me, I'd done it then. I tell you what, let me have him go over and talk to Carter now about getting on a range and see what we can arrange to make that happen. Hold on, let me talk to my supervisor and see what he
I
says.
just want to talk to her and see if she's okay. I mean, I'm worried
Right.
about her.
Okay, hold on.
There's a 10-minute span where nobody's in the room, I'm gonna advance forward. If there's no objections, I'm gonna adjourn.
Until they get this technical issue figured out, I'm going to send you down to the jury room. Do not discuss this case amongst yourselves or with anyone else. Do not permit anyone to discuss it with you or in your presence. It is your duty not to form or express an opinion on this case until it's finally submitted to you. As soon as they get that running where it'll behave the way it's supposed to, we'll have you brought back down by the bailiff. Court is recessed.
I told her, you come on in, that the reason that we're doing this is because you've cooperated and done everything you're supposed to. She can have drinks, just no touching, kissing, making out, because I'm doing this as a favor, okay?
Thank you,
She can have some of your drinks or whatever,
No.
but just don't, no making out, kissing, hugging, okay? Does that seem fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm so fucking worried about you. I've been on her ass for 2 fucking days to see you. I've been riding like a motherfucker, man, and I've been pissed. I got pissed at fucking Jody. I told her because she told me the last 2 days I was gonna get to see you, and she fucking I didn't.
I asked and they told me there was absolutely no way that I could see you at all. That men and women were not allowed to see each other, period.
Well, Jody promised me the first fucking day that night they brought me in here, I was gonna get to see you. Then she told me I could see you in the morning. Well, and then in the morning, then they took me out to the house and shit. Had me out there all fucking day. And then when we got back, she was supposed to,
What'd they have you out to the house for?
going over fucking shit. And
I've been so worried about the dogs. I've tried to call Linda. I couldn't even get a spoon until today.
hell, they ain't even fucking they still got me. They've been holding me up and holding the whole time. I ain't even been up back on the range. I went up in the fucking holding cell where the lights are on all the fucking time. That's another thing I want to talk to Jody about now, because they supposed to put me back here last night and they wouldn't fucking do it.
I'm sorry. She did not just say that she was so worried about her dogs when no, just no.
What are they charging you with?
Kidnapping, abduction, and like I don't know, another misdemeanor.
You had court this morning.
Video court.
I had video court yesterday morning. My bond's $100,000.
For kidnapping. Then what?
And
What else do you got?
kidnapping, abduction, and
Three things I got.
and something fooling with custody,
Yeah.
something misdemeanor 4, felony 4, and a felony 1.
I think my abduction is a felony 3. For some reason.
Maybe it is a felony 3. They told me that you said he was dead. They told me you were playing the music for me. They told me that you said he was dead.
They told me they knew he was dead.
I told him as far as I knew, CPS got back into me.
They told me they knew he was dead.
They said that they knew better that I'm lying.
They told me you told me he was dead.
They told me you told them that. They said you told them everything.
They knew. They told you that. So yes, you wouldn't worry. What were you having? W pod?
B,
B pod?
I'm in a cell by myself.
I didn't know. She told me that she thought you was on W pod.
They told me that our faces were going to be all over the news
Who told you that?
and that I was going to be the most hated woman
Who told you that?
in here. So they
Wait, that's kind of funny. So they lean into each other and whisper as if somehow that's magically not going to get picked up. Then they just break into regular tone talking. Like, I don't know if they just forgot that they were whispering a minute ago or what just shifted. But now randomly they're just like, okay, well, because they're talking about, frankly, the same thing that they were just whispering about. I don't know if you could hear what they were saying when they were whispering, but basically just saying that they've been told that their child is deceased and that they're suspected and so on and so forth. So I don't know what that random shift was, but probably just the fact that they're still on stuff.
put me in a cell by myself to keep me safe.
Who told you that?
Jody. She said that your face, my face, and Dylan's face would be all over the news. That we were wanted for kidnapping and abduction and they were looking for our little boy. And that we would be the most wanted people in Scioto County. So they were putting me somewhere safe so that the other women wouldn't, because I was going to be the most hated woman in this place.
They took me out there yesterday. They want me to take him where he was at. I took him somewhere to police place. Because I just know where he's at. They find his body. And they find out he has a record.
I don't know where he's at.
That's what I told him to be in Utah.
They said that you told them that I would know where he was at more than you would.
Did you get eaten?
Nope.
Why not?
I don't know, again, if you could hear them, but basically they were kind of agreeing that, oh, we don't know where he is. Oh, yeah, I told them I don't know where he is. So kind of just agreeing on their storyline to make sure that they're sharing the same or not sharing the same information.
How I had anything to eat with?
Why didn't they give you a spoon? They took you back here.
They didn't give me anything. They haven't given me toilet paper. The only toilet paper I had, because when I was in holding, I was about to freeze to freaking death. I was freezing to death. And there was a roll of toilet paper and there was dirty blankets laying. There was a cup that was somebody else's. And there was toilet paper laying everywhere. And there was a roll of toilet paper. So I took the first few layers off and wrapped my feet because I was freezing to death, I made me some socks.
Hell, I did.
So I have a little bit of toilet paper up there that I wrapped my feet with.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had you fucking, the only thing I had in there was 2 blankets that was already in there too, until fucking about 1 o'clock this morning. I finally gotta go take a shower and get clean blankets.
I haven't even got to take a shower or nothing.
Cause I fucking raised fucking hell on fucking heck with himself.
Well-
They don't like me up there. I said, motherfucker, I don't care if you don't like me. I said, this is fucking bullshit. I said, you didn't put me in here in a fucking dirty ass blanket. They ain't fucking let me have a fucking shower. And this dude on midnights, he's the only one that's been cool with me. He's been real nice to me. He let me take a shower that night and let me get a clean blanket.
Well, there was one guy, because I asked all day yesterday, I want to make a phone call. I want to make a phone call to call Linda.
So you called Linda?
I called Linda this morning, because I asked all day yesterday, all day. No. And I figured probably because she was at work, so I was waiting till like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Can you leave her a message?
To call her. No, it won't let me. I only get 2 phone calls.
We were using them?
And I used one.
I ain't never used either one of mine. Well, I was gonna tell you, you need to get over to Linda or get over to Phyllis and leave a message and tell them to go in there, to take Daniel in there and go to Humane Society and get Chip and Bella.
Is that where Chip and Bella's at?
They took both of us. Took them all here, so I was there. And the guy wouldn't let me. And the main guy come out there and he said I could let you take the 2 dogs or try to go take them to the people right now. He said, but the problem is you don't have tags for none of these dogs. He said, that's 7 counts against you right now. He said, you could be charged with 7 counts right now. He said, I don't know if they will charge you, but he said, but they can't. He said, but if you got a credit card or something, he said, I can get online right here and I can buy tags for them 2 house dogs and then we can try to take them to where you want them to be. He said, but if not, I have to take them all with me. But he said that they need to get them within a couple of days.
Well, because I went out. They told me to walk backwards. A guy asked me where you was at. I told him I didn't know. That as far as I knew, you wasn't home because I was in bed asleep. He called me a fucking bitch and threatened to split my wig. And I hollered at him. I said, go ahead, do it. Do it. Go ahead, do it. And he said, I fucking would, you fucking bitch, but I have a badge. I said, I don't care, do it.
I said, fucking, I should this.
So then they took me up and put me in Greg's car and threatened to take me. He said, take her to jail. Get her for aiding and abetting a fugitive. I said, how is he a fugitive? I said, he called his lawyer the day that he was supposed to have court and told her that he could not make it. I don't know why he has a warrant. They wouldn't tell me anything. They didn't have any charges on me, but they were going to get me for aiding and abetting a fugitive because I wouldn't tell them where you were at. I told him, I said, I was in bed. If he came home, I don't know where he's at. And they said, you know he's in there hiding. And they tried to tell me there was 2 males in the house. And I told him, no, there wasn't. I asked Greg, I said, please take me in the house and let me at least put a bra on and get me some socks and shoes. He said, I ain't going in that house so Daniel can come out shooting at me. I said, Daniel is not a violent person. I said, there is not a violent bone in his body. He would not hurt anybody. He's like, I don't know, there ain't guns in the house. I said, there ain't no guns in the house but a BB gun. And I said, and if Daniel's in there, he's hiding and I don't know where he's at because I was asleep. And he said, you mean you didn't get up and tell him to hide or something because he was in bed with you? I said, no, he didn't. Well, where was he at? I said, I don't know. I said, I was in bed asleep. Well, yeah, right. It took you long enough to come out. I said, I had to put clothes on. I said, I reckon I should have just come out in a pair of panties, shouldn't I? He's like, oh, no, we don't want to see that.
They took that. I come out in my underwear. They brought me in here in my fucking underwear. So they got had.
they gas the place?
And I looked out, didn't see no fucking cars. I mean, I didn't look out hard, but I just looked out. It went by the window. Didn't see no cars. I thought they fucking left. So I laid down by the bed and thought I was gonna lay down here in the jail for a while. So I took my clothes off. I laid down in bed, well, I fucking fell asleep. I mean, I literally did fall asleep. And then I fucking woke up at 9 o'clock. So it's 9 o'clock. And they put a fucking robot in the fucking house.
Well,
Busted the fucking window out of the bedroom.
they told, what bedroom?
Our bedroom.
They told me that they were, because I wouldn't give you up, that they were calling in a SWAT team and that they were going to throw in gas and something else, explosive things, to make the place inhabitable where it couldn't be lived in. And that they were going to tear that place apart and find you.
Yeah, they didn't need to come in. They put a robot in there, but they had to put it in. Like it got back there by the bed. I mean, they opened the fucking door with the robot and everything. But it got back there to our bedroom, opened the door, but it got, like, it wouldn't work. So they had to throw fucking pod things in to make it fucking power up or something. They threw the fucking elevator and busted the window out.
Flashbangs, that's what they told me, flashbangs and gas.
They just threw it like that in there.
Because I told him, I said, please don't hurt them dogs in the house. I said, that is Daniel's dog, and if anything happens to that dog, I said, he is going to be crushed. He said, well, I can't tell you, but it's probably going to kill them dogs.
Yeah, we ain't getting dogs actually. No. That's why we need to get going. We need to be able to leave matching soon. Because that guy told me if they can come in within a couple, 3 days, then and they buy tags for them 2 little dogs that they can take them.
Well, I don't know Phyllis's number.
I don't either.
And I was going to call Linda and tell Linda to please get Daniel, take him out to the house, get everything valuable, because our house is going to be robbed blind.
All right, not gonna lie, that time I don't know what they were saying. That's gonna involve me cleaning up that audio and see if I can hear what they were saying for that time. But before, pretty much, she was explaining how she was taken in and her experience. His whispers and mumbles before was him explaining that it seems like maybe they showed up to the house to grab him. He was hiding. He said something about like lying near a bed. And then she was talking about the cops coming in with flashbangs or gas or whatever to try to push him out of the house. And again, all she cares about is her animals. They have yet to question or show any concern for their infant at all. I think she might be gone at this point. She's been off camera like the whole time, but I think at this point they faded to a different section and she's not in the room anymore.
Thank you for being here, Daddy. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome, but you know what? You lied to me.
What?
Took us to the wrong place where the body was. Why would you lie? Why would you want to hide? You know what?
Why you sound lying?
Okay, here, I'm just gonna be straight up with you. You're just making things way worse for yourself, because you know what, you're gonna pull around, you know what they're gonna indict you for? Involuntary manslaughter, that's what's gonna happen.
I didn't tell you the wrong place.
Yeah, you did.
Who said I take you in the wrong place?
You took us to the wrong place. Yeah, you did.
I didn't take you to the wrong place.
You did. And you know the thing is, the hardest thing for me is I've been nothing but nice to you. I'm trying to help you. So by you lying about where the baby is makes me think that you're not telling me the truth about what really happened to it.
I'm telling you the truth, Jody.
Okay, well, you know where the body is. You took us to the wrong spot.
I didn't take you to the wrong spot.
Yeah, you did.
Jody, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Jody, that's where I took you. That's where I took you.
No. You just told Jessica that you took us to the wrong spot. And you didn't tell us everything. Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Okay, listen to me. I heard it come out of your own mouth, okay?
That ain't what I said.
It's exactly what you said. I could hear it plain as day. There's amplifiers in this room. I heard the whole entire conversation, everything you said. Okay? I'm doing everything in my power to try to help you. Okay? So by you doing this, you're just hurting yourself. You know? And if what you're telling me is correct about how your baby died, you'd have no reason to be doing this.
I'm telling you the truth.
No, you lied. You lied to me. And the thing is, and I understand she's your wife and you love her and blah blah blah. So I don't understand what's going on between the two of you now. I don't know if she's playing you or you're playing her. I don't know what the deal is.
Each other.
But here's the thing is, by us not finding that baby, you're just making it worse for you. You know what I'm saying? Because, if you're telling me, and you told me that, and at this point I don't know if you're telling me the truth about that. You told me that you just went and found the baby dead in the crib.
I did.
That can happen, okay? I give you that. But by you lying and taking me to the wrong spot makes me think that you're lying about what happened. How am I supposed to believe you about what happened to the baby? And I'm the only person that's believed you through this whole entire thing. I've had your back through this whole entire thing.
Jody, I'm telling you the truth.
No, you're not. You're not.
I'm telling you the truth, Jody.
No, you're not. No, because you just told her. You just told Jessica. I didn't tell him. I took him to the wrong spot. And you proceeded to tell her where you told us. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that one bit out of you. I've been over backwards. I made sure that your family members could come and get those two little dogs so Daniel could have that little dog.
Did you get a hold of anybody about that? Or?
Yes. Everything I told you, I had no idea you were still up front. Just now when you told me, and you heard me tell the sergeant to get you moved. I don't know what happened, if they got busy and forgot, whatever. And like I said, I did tell them to put, the news release hasn't went out yet, it's going out today. And the reason I did that, you know why I did that? To protect her, because when they find out a baby was tossed out, she's going to be the most hated female back there. I did that to protect her. I've done everything that I've told you I would do.
Did you get hold of who did you get hold of about the dogs?
The woman that whoever has Daniel. Phyllis, yeah, I didn't know what her name was. Greg Dunham went out to the house because we couldn't make contact. He drove all the way out to the house after I asked him to do it.
Okay.
So that's what the hardest thing is everything I've told you I'd do, I've done. I made sure you got fed, I made sure your son was taken care of, and for you to lie to me, I just don't understand it. And here's the thing is, if you're afraid that Jessica will be mad at you, you know what I can do? And I shouldn't because you've lied to me, but I can say we put helicopters with body heat up in the air and that's how we found it and it had nothing to do with you. Because I do know you lied. Let's get him where he needs to be. I told you all about respect, and you're going to have to face a jury and a judge. You know what I'm saying? Do the right thing. I won't put you out on Front Street, and I've kept my word on everything I told you I'd do.
Yeah, Jody, I appreciate it.
Let's get that baby back let him be where he needs to be. Let him have a proper burial. Because I know you've got that in you. I know that.
I do, Jody, I do.
And like I said, my word is good. I will tell Jessica, if it's outside, I'm assuming it's outside somewhere, I will say I put helicopters in the air. And if it makes you feel better, I will even call and see if I can get some helicopters up in the air. Because like I told you, respect goes a long way. Yeah, you're in a little bit of trouble, but you want me on your side.
A little bit of hell. I'm in a little bit of fucking trouble.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
I don't call that a little bit of fucking trouble.
No,
Not to be disrespectful.
I know that, but I'm just saying, it's not the end of the world. But I can promise you, you're going to want a jury and a judge looking at you and saying, you know what? He did the right thing. He didn't leave that baby laying out
They
there.
ain't gonna fucking look at me that way yet.
Yeah, they will. But you know what?
People don't look at you like that around here. They fucking look at you one damn way and that's it.
Well, let me tell you something. I've been doing this a long damn time, and you know that.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a lot of, because when the cases are over and we talk to juries and everything, and they'll after it's done, we're not allowed to talk to them during the trial, but after it's done, they'll tell us, what they thought about this or this and that and everything. And almost everyone I've had some way worse than this. I've had some that's actually killed a baby or killed a child and threw it out there. I had one on Maybert Road. I told you that. And you know what they said? She didn't hardly get anything. You know why? Because she told me the truth and took me to the jury. Instantly felt sorry for her because she told the truth and said she had remorse because she took me to that baby and did not leave that baby laying outside. And I have no reason to lie to you about that. You know this. And like I said, I will take full blame for it. I'll say that I put helicopters up and found him. And I will never tell the difference.
Yeah, but how's that gonna make us look any better than?
Here's the thing is.
It ain't gonna make us look no
No, here, I will tell the judge. I won't front you out to Jessica unless you want me to later on. I'm telling you, I will keep your word, but I will make sure that the judge knows, okay? They talk to the jury in private.
I ain't worried about Jessica. I ain't a problem. I'm talking about when we're in court.
Okay, well, I tell you what, I'll march right in that courtroom and say, you know what, yeah, he lied to us at first, but he did the right thing. You know what? And I've told you all about doing the right thing. Yeah, when we make mistakes in life, we got to make right by him. And I told you the main thing is don't leave him laying out like a piece of trash, okay? And I think you love him because you got emotional.
I do.
And like I said, you want me going to bat for you and not against you. And like I said, as soon as you asked to talk to me today, as soon as he told me, I said, bring him over. I stopped what I was doing to tend to you. I've kept an eye on you to make sure that you're okay from coming down off of stuff. I've done everything. My heart breaks for you. My heart breaks for even though Jessica was a little bit rude, my heart breaks for her. Because I couldn't imagine losing a child no matter how it happened.
He just died. I mean, that isn't going on.
Well, let me prove it. You got to help me to let me prove that. If you found him there, you know what? There's testing they can do, and boom, we can prove that's what happened. And that gets you guys off the hook for that. Versus being indicted for involuntary manslaughter. You see what I'm saying? But you got to help yourself. I don't care if it takes me all night long to stay out. I'll make sure that happens for you. And I'll make sure that they know you did the right thing and that you were remorseful. They will know that. That I promise you. Can't promise you anything else, but that I can promise you. That they will know that you took me and got him so he wasn't laying out like garbage. And that's going to mean a lot. You know what? That will take a lot off your conscience too about having to worry about that. And you know this. Can we go get him to where he ain't laying out?
Yeah, but what if I take you where he's at and he's not really there, then you're going to think I'm lying again.
Well, if you take me to where he should really be there, it hadn't been that long. There should be some traces. If he's not there, a blanket should be there. Did you tell me the truth about what he was in, or that was a lie too?
No, that's true.
Okay, something should be there. And that's all it takes. If we find one of them items, even if he's not there, we're going to know. We can take him cadaver dogs. If he was ever there, they're going to hit on it. And that's another reason I knew you were lying. The dogs didn't hit on any of that spot, and we took them all up and down that hill. But you know that. I mean, you've seen them out there. And I bet you, wherever you take us to the right spot, he's going to be there. So don't take me to another wrong spot. Take me to the right spot. And I'll be able to prove he was there. Something will be there, either that plastic crate or the little blanket you told me. As long as you told the truth about all that stuff, it will be there.
Yeah, I told you the truth about all that.
Okay. Let's go get him before it gets dark. Is it in the same area or no?
Close.
Close. And you're going to take me to the right spot this time?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Do you want another drink before we go? Let me get you another drink to take with us?
I don't care.
Okay, give me just a minute.
Detective Conkle, was that essentially the end of that interview?
Yes, it was.
What did you do next?
So next, Captain John Murphy and Detective Spencer and myself, along with Daniel, got back in the vehicle and headed back towards Otway.
Okay. About what time of day is this?
3:30, 3:45, somewhere around that area.
Okay. Show you. It's going to be marked as State's Exhibit 76 for identification. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 76?
Yes, I do.
What does that depict?
This depicts it shows where the mobile home of Jessica and Daniel was in relationship to where the location of the well was.
Okay, are you familiar with those areas?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Would that be a true and accurate representation of that area out there if you were above it?
Yes, that is correct.
So I think the judge has a pointer there, if you would. Using that pointer, show the members of the jury where their residence is. Okay, and where the well location actually turns out to be. Okay. The places that you were taken the day before, are those shown on this map?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Who went out there?
This time,
Yes.
driving was Captain John Murphy. I was up front, the passenger, and then the back seat I had Daniel and Detective Matt Spencer.
Okay. And explain to the jury what happens as you get out to Otway or Raritan.
So, yeah. So as we're going out there, we're talking about the location and we're just having conversation about ourselves, and he starts the same thing. Well, if something's not going to be out there, or if you don't find something, you're going to think I'm lying. The same stuff. I knew he was lying. So he drives us out, drives us through a spot. There was a large log that actually had to be cut, but we drove around it. I don't even know how we got back there. He was driving a four-wheel drive vehicle. When I tell you it was bad for us to get back here, it was really bad. Hilly, bumpy. We bottomed out several times. And he keeps driving us. We drive through this first field. We go through a second one, and the grass was really tall, like it was up as tall as the SUV. And he takes us to where you can't go any farther. And he actually gets out of the vehicle. He's in the back seat behind me, and I get out, and he starts again. Well, I just know you're not going to find nothing. You think I'm lying again. And myself and Captain Murphy both get on, you're lying, stop lying to us, let this baby, be found. Don't leave him laying out there. That was my goal.
Let me interrupt you just for a minute. So there's some back and forth there.
Yes.
Are you near the actual well location at that time?
We had already passed that, but you could see you couldn't see the well, but you would be able to see through the field. If there was something sticking out, you could possibly see the location of the well.
Okay. So do you know approximately how far away from the actual well you are at this time that you're having this conversation with him?
I'm totally guessing, but I would say maybe the length of a football field.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
Okay. So at some point, does he lead you to a different area in this same field?
Yeah, he kind of gets a little bit frustrated, shuts the door. He said, I'm not going to lie anymore. He's over there in a well, and he points to that direction.
Okay. Let me show you what's previously been marked as State's Exhibit 26. Does that look familiar to you?
Yes, it does. That's the grassy fielded area I was talking about.
Okay. Do you know which area of this field, or is it even shown in that picture where you are at first?
Without being close to see the well, it looks like at this point we're back past it where we went initially without being up where I can see the hole, because the hole, it was double filled and they all looked alike. It was a tall grass without seeing the hole.
Okay. Let me show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 29. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what is that?
It is a picture showing the well and the water up. I actually took that photograph.
Okay. What do you do when you reach this area here and realize that you're going to be looking in a well for that item?
Okay, so we get in contact with our dispatch and tell them that we're going to need assistance from the fire department. It's obvious we can't get down in that well. We don't have any tools or anything, so we needed help to get in there and see if he actually was telling the truth and if Dylan was at the bottom of this well.
Okay. In the meantime, does the defendant Daniel Groves provide any information to you about that well?
Yes, he does.
Tell the jury what that was.
He gave me information that he used to hunt there and was very familiar with the area. Told me he thought it was approximately about 30 foot deep. He had lost some hunting dogs in the well. He also told me there was another well close. We tried not to move around just for our safety. We didn't want to fall in.
Okay. You said you reached out for assistance from another agency.
Yes, we did.
Okay. The fire department show up there to help you?
Yes, it took him a little bit, and like I said, as you heard him talk, it was way off the road. Like when you take this muddy, gravelly, pitted road, it is a good ways back there from the actual Mount Hope. So until we started driving out, they were not able to find us because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, and what happens when they arrive?
Once they arrive, obviously fire trucks could not get back there, the big trucks. So they assess what they think they need, what they can get. And at that point, they decided someone was going to go try to get some kind of devices to pump out the well to see if they could get some of the water out to actually get in there.
Okay, so they do make an attempt to pump the water.
Yes, they do.
Are you there when that happens?
Yes, I'm there the entire time.
You recognize State's Exhibit 31.
Yes, that actually shows them working inside the well. I also took that picture.
Okay, who's taking all the photographs out there?
I took all the photographs.
Okay, as this is happening, you're taking documentary evidence of this.
Yes, ma'am.
And at some point, the pump no longer is effective.
That is correct. It stopped working.
Okay, so what do
It's
they
losing
do
pressure.
then?
So they're trying to decide what they're going to do. They have something they can drop down, but it wasn't long enough. So they, and I'm not a firefighter, excuse me, but they had like straps and stuff they hooked together. And basically the firefighter was fishing down in this because you couldn't see anything. He was just fishing, hoping that he could feel something. And at one point he tells me,
Let me interrupt you.
Okay.
Show you State's Exhibit 72.
yes, that's them with the straps and the stuff down in there fishing, yes.
Okay, so at some point they hook an item and they hoist it up out of there.
That is
Are
correct.
you there for that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What do they pull up out of there?
Okay, they pull up out of there. It is 2 milk crates, and they're open end to open end. They're hooked with tie straps, plastic straps, wire, chain,
Show
locks.
you State's Exhibit 54.
Yes,
Actually, I'm mistaken. I think it's 34. Do you recognize that item?
yes, I do. That is what was pulling from the well.
Okay. That's the item you were just describing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I might read you what's previously been marked, I believe, as State's Exhibit 74. You don't have to remove it if you would just look down in this brown paper bag. Tell me if you recognize that item.
Yes, I do recognize this item. This is what we pulled out of the well.
What's up there in the picture on the screen?
That is correct.
Okay. What happens after they pull that item up out of there?
So after they pulled that item up out of there, we got in contact with the coroner to have them to see what they wanted to do, if they were going to send somebody out. That was loaded. We couldn't put it in our vehicle because the longer it sat, it smelled like decomposition. I mean, I'm around it all the time. You know what you're smelling. There was no doubt what was in there. We didn't have to open it. We knew there was something in there. It was transported to the end of the roadway by the fire department, never left our site. We were right there with it. And we sat there and we waited until coroner transport showed up, and it was loaded into the vehicle and he left.
Okay. You said you go out there approximately 3:30?
Yes, ma'am.
And what time are you clearing that scene?
I think we ended up clearing the scene and clearing the call out close to midnight.
Okay. All of this property where you pull the crate out of the well and where you transport it to the roadway, does that all happen here in Scioto County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. After you retrieve this item and it's loaded and taken to the coroner's office, does your investigation stop there?
No, absolutely not. I done numerous things. I had to check and get information on when was the last time Daniel worked, if he had a job, when was the last time Jessica worked, when she had a job, pulled up her nursing license, got a hold of the state to find out rainfall measurements, to find out if the wall was a well, or the well was a wall, would fill back up, like is water flow to it, does it stay full of water, does it go dry?
What did you learn about that well?
That it is sprung fed and that it stays full with water all the time.
Okay. Were you able to ascertain through your investigation when Daniel Groves was last gainfully employed?
Yes, throughout my investigation, I believe that would have been May of 2018.
Okay, and what about Jessica Groves?
I was able to find out through her, she was an LPN, and pull her license. I don't have it in front of me, but there is a date on that.
Handy what's been marked as State's Exhibit 77 for identification. Record reflect and showing this to the defense counsel. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
This is a copy of her LPN license that's filed with the state of Ohio.
Okay. And when was it last active? Well, when was it inactive?
It was inactive 10/31 of 2018.
Do you know when she was last employed?
Yes, I don't have that in front of me, but yes, I actually went over and interviewed several people at her last job of employment.
Okay. And it would have been before this license expired?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Throughout your investigation, did you learn whether or not the Groves had other children?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and did they provide that information to you in
Yes.
addition to other sources?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to speak with the other child?
Yes, I did.
Okay. How old is that child?
14.
Okay. Boy or girl?
Boy.
Okay. And name?
His name is Daniel Groves Jr.
Okay. Without saying what he told you, were you able to determine whether or not he had seen baby Dylan with any injuries?
Yes, I was.
Were you able to ascertain whether or not he had been given an explanation about those injuries?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Was there any reason for you to believe in your investigation and through talking to him that Daniel Jr. had anything to do with this baby's injuries?
Absolutely not.
Detective Kunkel, did you have an opportunity throughout your investigation to listen to any jail calls or jail visits between these defendants and any other people outside the jail?
Yes, I did.
Okay. If you would explain to the members of the jury how that jail phone system works.
Okay, so if you make a jail phone call, every person in the jail has a number, so you can look it up by the number. We can listen to just theirs, we can listen to anybody's phone call that's in jail. So you actually can listen from start to finish. Also, the visitation booths at the jail, they are also recorded as well, and we listen to them the same way. There's a system at the office we can get on and we can listen to it.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to review a jail visit between Jessica Groves and a Stacy Hall?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you confirm after that that the person on the other end of that jail visit was Stacy Hall?
Yes, I did.
Okay. How did you do that?
I actually spoke with her.
Stacy Hall?
Yes.
Okay. Handy what's going to be marked as State's Exhibit 78. And ask you if you recognize the items that would be on that disc.
Yes, I do. This would be calls through our jail system, so it could be either from the visitation booth or from a phone call made.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to review those
Yes, I have.
inmate visits?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Your Honor, for ease, I also have loaded those to a jump drive.
Thank you.
Visit is identified up in the top left corner. I'm not sure if Detective Conville can see that from there. If there's no objection, I'll read it.
You can read it into the record.
Okay. CSN 2859372, dated 6/14/2019 at 19:50:31. ID 200-29737, inmate Jessica D. Groves, called station 3114.
Thank you.
Call number 2859372. Inmate ID 200-29737. Date 2019 6/14. Time 195031. Dialed number from station 3111.
United States of America.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. You may begin speaking now.
Hello? I don't understand. They have everything screwed up, Stacy. I can't discuss anything. But it's so wrong. So wrong. You know I would never ever hurt my children. And you wouldn't. And you wouldn't either. Oh, somebody did, and who did? Accidents happen. And you should have done the right thing. Mistakes get made. I've been so distraught. I'm just falling apart. All you had to do was make a call. You could have messaged me. You didn't have no way. I haven't had no phone. I haven't had nothing. I have nobody. You knew I would have been there. You knew I would have. I don't know anybody's phone number. Aunt Linda won't accept my phone calls. All I have is Daniel, and he is stuck in here too. I don't know what to do. You should have been honest with me from the start. I had no help. I can't help when I don't know. Oh my God. I don't know what to do. I don't think there's anything that you can do. There's not. I did not do this. We did not do this. But everything points that you did. I didn't. Everything looks different than it seems. If you're not there you don't know. They're making me out to be a monster, and I am not.
I know you're not.
Neither is Daniel.
But I know what drugs do to
Stacy, it was not because of that. That had nothing to do with it. Nothing. I swear to you, nothing. Nothing. One day I will explain it to you, I swear, but they had nothing to do with it. I promise you, with all that's in me and on my children, nothing.
Do you guys have anything of my sister?
Of what?
Anything that was stolen from him, from us?
No!
Did you buy anything from anybody?
No! Like what? I didn't know you had anything stolen from you.
Oh, like stuff?
If I did, I would give it to you. Because I know how much that would mean to you. Because I know now everything that was at my house, everything that I have left of my children, my mother, Daniel's mother, is gone. They destroyed my house. I'm sure everything in it that is worth anything is gone.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
I have nothing left. Nothing.
I'm going to make sure that doesn't get the funeral.
They were supposed to have a visit or a lighted vigil or something last night that I don't know.
That doesn't really help, does it?
No, it don't. Daniel's sister or somebody, I don't know who, was supposed to start a GoFundMe account.
I don't know.
But
I stayed up late. I can't read anymore. I can't.
I might have to Can we proceed?
If there's nothing we need to address, then you can go ahead and proceed.
I think we're okay. Thanks for that.
I saw one thing that I can only imagine. I don't even want to see it.
I want you to know that I love you and I never turned my back on you.
I love you too.
And all you had to do was reach out. I would have helped anyway with children's services. You could have just gave my name. I would have done whatever I could.
I'm sorry, but I didn't have no means of communication. No nothing. CPS made Daniel not have a job, so we didn't have money. Stuck up there on the hill by myself, just me and him.
The things have been going on for him for a long time. I know it.
It's not what it all seems, I swear.
It seems pretty bad. Your baby's dead.
I know. And I suspect maybe there's another one. You don't tell nobody. I don't know.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I don't know. I've lost my heart. I'm so empty. I love you.
Love you. And I know it's your birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, right?
Your baby don't get a birthday.
I know. I wanted to so bad. I just want to hold hold him and kiss him and love him. I just want to kiss Daniel, little Daniel, so much and hold him because he's always going to be my baby, no matter how big he gets, even though he's bigger than me. And I haven't talked to him for so long. Maybe that you'll get to him. He probably don't even want to talk to me. He doesn't need to come in and see you. He doesn't. He doesn't need to see you like that. But in here, he doesn't. I know. He's such a good boy. And I'm so worried about him. He's good. I will be in his life. He's good. Well, he's with Phyllis. I think he's good. You've seen him? I haven't seen him. But I will. I can't now. I can't right now. But I will, and I will be in his life. Well, I don't know Phyllis's number. I got Linda's number, but she won't accept my calls. I expect that. Phyllis is not going to accept your calls either. No, but just recently I found out he has a girlfriend. But it's not a girl from around here. It's a girl he met on the line. She supposedly lives in Arkansas. He tells her he loves her. He wants to marry her. And I'm so scared that it's a predator. Because I don't know. I'm sure Phyllis already knows this side. And I don't want him to be mad at me because this girl sent me text on his phone before it was turned off. She seems legit. She seems like a teenage girl. And it's somebody that he has to talk to. So I hope that it is somebody that is actually who they say they are. But I'm so worried that it's not. He's going to need a lot of people to talk to. He's such a good boy. I know he's a good boy. I've been told he's a good boy. And he's so smart. I don't know where he gets it. I really don't. And I know you're a good person. I know you are. Not many people do. But I know. How are you going to find out if you are? I don't know. I can't even write Daniel a letter or anything. They did let me see him because he was cooperative with them. So who told him where Daniel was? He told him. He did. Because they threatened him with murder. And you got it anyway. And got it anyway. I would never, Daniel would never, ever hurt our children. I would never hurt our children. When you're high, you don't know what you do. That had nothing to do with it. I swear to you. I swear. If it had anything, if there was even an inkling that it had anything to do with it, I swear I would tell you. I promise you. That had absolutely nothing to do with it. Nothing. Look in my eyes. In my soul. I'm telling you, nothing to do with it. I promise you. I'm getting death threats in here already. They holler through the door and call me names and tell me just to hang myself because if not, they're going to take care of it for me. They wouldn't even give me a blanket. They haven't given me soap. They won't let me take a shower. I finally took a shower, I don't even know, yesterday or the day before, with just water. And I stood there until I drip dry and put back all my dirty, filthy, nasty, stinky clothes. And then finally today, some other girl slid me soap and shampoo under the door so that I could take a shower because I felt nasty. I still feel nasty, but at least I did get a little bit of soap. They wouldn't even give me a spoon to eat with for like 4 days. You don't have to be suicidal in this place because this place will kill you, literally. But I promise you, don't believe what they're saying. How did you get there? I can't discuss anything. Everything that me and you have said, they're listening to everything. And they're going to take everything they can from me and run and try to bury me alive. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to fight it. We've got to, because we did not do this. I promise you, accidents happen. And people make mistakes. Yes, we've done some things wrong, but nothing like this. Nothing. I promise you. I never expected to get a visit. Your nephew was coming up. Of course I would. I was hoping that you could come and see me. I didn't know that you would. But I was hoping you would, and I didn't know your phone number. I only had 2 phone calls. And I tried calling Aunt Linda. I don't know what was phone. And she rejected my calls. I don't know exactly why. But it is what it is, I reckon. There's any place to talk here, I know. I don't have the support that I should. And you never have. No, I know that. But I was always there. I know. I was always there. But I don't know where you live. I don't know anybody's phone number. Don't have internet and, well, haven't had it for quite a while. So I've just it's just been me and Daniel. We are all we have. No matter what, in him or forever, it's till death do you part. Do the good and the bad. And I know you know that because I know you didn't have the perfect marriage. Nobody does. Everybody has their problems. And you work through them. And you love each other forever, no matter what. And I'm so sorry for you for that. And I don't know that I'm as tough as...
Detective Conkle, when you were Out of the trailer in that consent search, did you come across a calendar out there?
Yes, I did.
Okay. In your interviews with defendant Daniel Groves, did he ever give you a time frame or a date that baby Dylan might have died?
Yes, he did.
What did he tell you?
He told me that it was within a couple of days of Children's Services being there, which would have been March 28th. So he figured somewhere from the 28th to the 30th.
Okay. And the calendar, let me hand you what's going to be marked as State's Exhibit 79 for identification. You could take a look at State's Exhibit 79. Is that the calendar you photographed while you were out there?
Yes, it is.
What date, what month is that picture? What's in the picture on the calendar? I'm sorry.
April.
Okay. What year?
2019.
Okay. And there's some writing that you saw on a date on that calendar. Is that right?
Yes, there is.
Okay. What did that say?
On the 24th, it says, worst day ever.
Through your investigation, were you ever able to relate April 24th to any event in this case?
Yes, I was.
Tell the jury what that was.
When Daniel was removed.
Was there any other notation on that calendar between March 28th and April 24th that would indicate when baby Dylan was murdered?
No, there was not.
You've heard some conversations in here this week about questionable cell phone service out in that area.
Yes, I have.
Can you explain to the jury, is there any service out there?
Yeah, it is spotty. I know I used my phone out there. Not every place. You had to move around. After being there so long, you could know where to go to get service. And depending on, I have AT&T, different phones could be different. But if you would go down to the end of their driveway, there's a neighbor right there. Very friendly man.
Okay. One neighbor, several neighbors?
There's a lot of neighbors, but I just happened to talk to him and when I was out there.
Okay. Detective Kunkel, in the event that somebody doesn't have a home phone, are you aware through your employment with the Sheriff's Department ways that people can reach 911?
Yeah, so even if you don't have phone service, if you have a phone in your house and it's plugged in, you can call 911 and we will answer. It goes straight through. It doesn't have to be hooked up through a phone service. You don't have to have a phone bill.
Just plug it into the wall and it'll let you call 911?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. To your knowledge, Detective Kunkel, were there ever any calls made for emergency assistance for baby Dylan to that house?
There was not.
From your investigation, Detective Kunkel, was there ever any reason for you to believe that anybody else had been around this baby?
No.
Do you see Jessica Groves and Daniel Groves here in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Reflective witnesses pointed to and identified the defendants.
Your Honor, this time I don't have any more questions.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. Mr. Stratton, you may cross-examine.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Detective Conklin.
Good afternoon.
You went through a lot of information, so we're going to step back a little bit here. You had some words to describe Jessica Groves. You said cold,
Yes.
annoyed,
Yes.
standoffish,
Yes.
and closed off.
Yes.
From your experience as a detective, as a police officer for 27 years?
That is correct. Almost. March.
Okay. As from your experience, does that indicate some kind of guilt?
It can. A lot of times, yes.
You mentioned that Daniel gave you a date of death. What were those dates again?
He said that it was shortly after, his words to me was shortly after Children's Services was there, which was on March the 28th. He thought maybe within a couple of days, which would be March 30th.
Shortly after Children's Services was there, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And then you were shown by the prosecution a calendar that had written on April 24th, worst day ever.
Yes, I was.
Okay. And that day was the day that their last child was taken out of the house, correct?
That's the information that was given to me. That is correct.
Okay. That day, Daniel Jr. was taken by who? Do you know?
I would assume Children's Services.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Stratton, Ms. Scott, and the cross-examine the witness.
Good afternoon, Detective Conkle.
Good afternoon.
Tear these out so I don't flip and make that noise on the microphone. You had an opportunity through your investigation to have encounters with both Daniel Groves and Jessica Groves, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And as part of that investigation, would you accurately state that, or am I accurately stating that my client originally was not very cooperative with the investigation up front? He didn't tell you the truth where the body was located, correct?
That is correct. He lied a lot.
Okay. Do you recall the exact date and the exact time when you first encountered him after he was arrested?
The exact time I would not have in front of me. The date would have been the 10th.
He was arrested the evening of the 10th, correct?
That is correct.
And you would have encountered him that same evening, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And at that point in time, I believe that both you and him indicated that he had been under the influence of drugs.
That is correct.
Okay. That he appeared sick, and he also admitted that to you, that he was dope sick.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And obviously, I'm sure he had had multiple encounters with law enforcement by that period of time and would have explained to him that he was facing some very potentially serious charges in relation to the child, his whereabouts not being known, correct?
I was not out there during when he was arrested or when she was arrested, so I can't tell you what conversation took place, but normally when you're the detective doing the interview or you're the lead on something, no one else would even question them or talk to them about the situation. But again, I was not there.
Okay. When you encountered Mr. Groves, did you tell him what possible charges he may be facing?
Yeah, throughout the interview, based on only the information he gave me, which was not correct information, I did bring up possible what it could be, but ultimately I don't make that decision. The prosecutor's office does.
I understand that.
Okay.
But would the nature of those charges cause someone to be intimidated?
That's something you'd have to ask him.
Okay. When you have had your multiple years of experience and your multiple times of investigating and talking to different individuals, is it atypical that someone's not cooperative with you up front?
Actually, I have a lot of them that are cooperative up front and very, very helpful, but I do have those who lie and that are not cooperative.
And is that especially true when there are very serious charges that people are facing or believe they may be facing?
I've had people come in instantly that's had serious charges worse than this and admit to it and tell the truth.
But it's both ways.
It can be both ways.
Okay. But as the investigation went on, Daniel Groves indicated to you that he wanted to be truthful with you, correct?
When I would get onto him or prove to him that I knew he was lying, he would tell me a little bit more, some being false, some who knows.
Okay. The same words that you used to describe Jessica Groves, cold, annoying, belligerent, and I didn't write down all of those various words. Would you say those same things about Daniel Groves?
No, I would not.
Okay. Did he appear as if he was more trying to be forthcoming with you, or not belligerent to you, not rude to you?
He appeared like when I would catch him in the lies, he was more trying to cover those more than anything, but not cold and standoffish.
Okay. And did he seem as if he was genuinely concerned about the situation that he was facing?
He seemed more concerned about the dogs, actually.
He did seem concerned about the dogs.
Yeah.
He also seemed concerned about his wife, too, as well.
The wife and the dogs more than anything. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. But he did show some genuine concern to you. Whether it be about the dogs, his wife, or whatever, he wasn't being cold, he wasn't being distant, he wasn't being annoying, and he wasn't being belligerent, correct?
I would say that's correct, yes.
Okay. He did consent and went out with you actually to his residence?
Yes.
Did Mrs. Groves do that?
No, but I did not ask her to.
I'm not saying whether you did or you didn't, but he did.
Yes, he did.
Okay. He accompanied to you the residence. He executed a search warrant with you, correct?
Was not a search warrant, but it was a consent to search.
Consent to search.
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
And at one point in time, you described him as being emotional. That he even got, when he was out at one of the scenes, I believe it was one of the very first scenes that he took you to, or he was purporting was the scene or the location of where the body would be found. He got emotional.
The first false location.
Correct.
Yes, he appeared to get emotional.
Okay.
Because nothing was there.
I understand that, but he did appear to be emotional. He wasn't
Yeah.
cold. He wasn't distant.
No.
He was emotional.
Yeah, very talkative.
Okay. He also described to you that him and Jessica came up with the Children's Services taking the baby story together.
Yes, he did.
Okay. When she came into the room, he even offered to give her his drinks when you told them that they could share the drinks. He said she can have them all, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. You also heard, and we also saw in that interview, how she described her own self, how belligerent she was to the cops when she felt the cops were being belligerent to her, correct?
Yes.
You did not hear that same description coming from Daniel Groves, did you?
Daniel saying the cops were belligerent?
That he was belligerent to the cops, or how he behaved towards the officers on the scene.
I was not advised of that. That is correct.
But you did not see any of that being described to you?
No, I did not.
When you were sitting in the other room and then when we watched it here today, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. You also heard how Jessica Groves and her, when they were sitting in that room together, advised Daniel how she described to the police officers how he was not violent, how he didn't have a violent bone in his body. You heard her talk about that, correct?
Yes, I did hear that.
Okay. You also heard her describe, or you also told Daniel that you believed he was emotional about the whole situation and now how he loved that baby. You told him that?
Yes, I did tell him that.
Okay. And at the end of all of this, he finally tells you the true location of the baby. Is that correct?
At the very end, that is correct.
Yeah. You were in the vicinity of where that well was, correct? When you went out there in that open field?
Yeah, I
and you
would
went
guess.
through all those.
I would guess about a length of a football field. That's totally a guess. Yes.
Okay. So you were, and he also told you that there were other wells on that property too, to make sure that you didn't have any other accidents or somebody step in one accidentally. He told you that there were other at least another well. close
Yes, he
by.
did. That is
Okay.
correct. Yes.
Okay. So he showed some concern for your safety.
Well, he didn't say why he was telling us that,
Right.
but he did say there was another well.
Okay. In that last audio that we heard played with Jessica and Stacy Hall, we once again heard Jessica describe Daniel as being cooperative with the police, correct?
If you call cooperative also lying, yes.
Well, but she called him cooperative
Oh,
to the
yes, she
police.
called him cooperative, yes.
Okay. I'm not denying he lied, but he did end up telling you the truth,
About the location,
correct?
yes.
Okay. And you were able to recover the body,
Yes, we were.
and he's the only one that did so of those two,
That is correct, yes.
He even asked to speak to you. He asked to speak to you.
When he was in jail, that is correct, yes.
Okay. He reached out to you.
That
It
is
wasn't
correct.
the other way around when this all finally came out, correct?
That is correct, yes.
He initiated the conversation with you even after he had an attorney assigned to him, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And that's not something he needed to do? That is not something he needed to do. Once he got counsel and he's no longer, he's no longer under any obligation to talk to you without his counsel being present.
That is correct. He wanted to see Jessica.
Right, but he also wanted to see you.
Right, so I can arrange that. That is correct.
But he also spoke to you.
Yes, he did.
That wasn't the only thing that he asked to get accomplished. He asked to speak to you.
He did ask to speak to me, yes.
Okay. And he came clean
He came clean about the location.
of the baby.
Yes, after we got out there and he showed us another false location. That is correct.
Sure. But at the end of the day, he was the only one that did so of those two, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. I have no further questions right now, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Any redirect?
Just a couple. Detective Kunkel, after you overheard their conversation and you removed Jessica from the room, he still denied
Absolutely.
that he said what he said and what
Abs-
you heard him say to her about taking you to the wrong location.
Yes, I just had to keep calling him a liar and stay on him. That is correct.
Would it be accurate to say you never even asked Jessica about that conversation after you took her out of there?
That is accurate.
Okay. And so then he takes you back out into this field, away from where the baby actually is recovered.
That is correct.
So after the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, at some point you do recover that body.
That is correct.
Do you have an opportunity to interview this defendant again on the 14th?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And would it be accurate to say at that time he denies his involvement in the child's death but admits that he dumped his body?
That is correct.
Okay. And then did you have an opportunity to listen to his inmate visitation with a female?
Yes, I did.
And in that conversation, he denies all involvement and denies dumping the body. Isn't that right?
That is correct.
I have nothing further.
Any recross, Mr. Stratton?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Scott?
Your Honor, if I can have just a moment. Detective Conkle, I believe that you were asked about, based on my questions to you, that Daniel is the only person that you ended up having a follow-up conversation with. Is that correct?
What she
Of
asked,
those two individuals?
what she asked me is after they were in there talking to each other, did I talk to Jessica after that, or was it just Daniel? It was just Daniel.
And it was just Daniel because he was the one that was more approachable in this situation, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
Further questions, Ms. Scott?
No further questions, thank you.
All right, that is the end of the detective's testimony. Yeah, that was interesting to say the least. Of course, her defense attorney does not have anything else to add. Not surprised there. So now is the time for, where are we? Now is the time for Jessica's Jessica's testimony, guys. Are you guys ready for this? I've heard about the drama. Haven't seen it myself, but it's gonna be interesting to say the least.
Back on the
Give me 1 second. Let me get it over for you. There you go. Oh my goodness. I'm bracing myself for this this theatrical performance.
record in 19 CR 586 A and B, State of Ohio versus Daniel Groves and State of Ohio versus Jessica Groves. Counsel and the parties are back in the courtroom, as are the jurors and alternate jurors in this matter. Mr. Tiemann, state may call their next witness.
Your Honor, with the admission of the state's exhibits, the State of Ohio would rest its case at this time.
State of Ohio has rested its case at this time. Mr. Bryant?
So the prosecution was going to end here, right? Like, so they're going to end, they're good, they got everything out they wanted, and for whatever reason, both defense attorneys thought it would be a great idea to put them on the stand. To be fair, though, it's not their decision in the end. It is the defendants, right? They just guide them. They can't force them to do something. They're simply there to guide them, but yeah.
Mr. Stratton, is the defendant Jessica Groves prepared to offer their case?
Yes, we are.
Ms. Scott, is the defendant Daniel Groves prepared following to offer his case?
We are, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Stratton, you may call your first witness.
Your Honor, we call Jessica Groves to the stand.
Ma'am, if you'll step forward. Ma'am, will you raise your right hand for me, please? And do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please have a seat.
Jessica, please state your name for the record.
Jessica Groves.
You want to scoot your chair up there a little bit, if you will. I would actually speak up to the court reporter.
Jessica, did you, and you only, cause the death of your son, Dylan Groves?
Yes.
Did Daniel Groves participate in the killing of Dylan?
No.
Was Daniel Groves aware of any of the injuries that you caused Dylan that may have led to his death?
No.
Did you hide all injuries that you caused Dylan from your husband?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to object all these leading questions.
Sustained, rephrase your questions, Mr. Chair.
We approach, Your Honor.
On that issue, you need to approach. Just rephrase your questions.
Jessica Groves, Did you only assist in the placement of Dylan's body after his death?
Sustained. Rephrase your question, Mr. Stratt. No leading.
I have a second, Your Honor.
You may.
We approach.
Counsel approach. Mr. Stratt, rephrase your questions.
Jessica Groves, the injuries that Dylan sustained happened on what date?
March 27th,
Dylan died on what date?
March 28th.
As she previously testified, Patricia Kraft said that she had looked at Dylan. Did she do anything else?
Objection, leading.
Your Honor, did Patricia Kraft do anything else to examine Dylan? Where did you take Dylan after he died?
He was at our house for a couple days.
And then where did you take him?
To the well.
Did you murder Dylan Groves? Did you murder Dylan Groves?
Not intentionally.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Stratton, Ms. Scott, you wish to cross-examine the witness?
Not at this time, Your Honor, thank you.
Does the state wish to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hutchinson, you may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Probably.
Tell the jury how you killed this baby.
It was an accident.
Not your excuse. How did you murder this baby? How did you cause these injuries?
I have sit here and admitted.
Answer the question, please. How did you cause these injuries?
It was an accident.
Not your excuse for what happened. How did you cause these injuries? How did you cause those rib fractures?
By dropping him.
By dropping him. How did you cause that first 2-inch skull fracture?
I don't remember.
How did you cause that 1-inch skull fracture?
It had to be from dropping him.
How did you cause that complete upper arm fracture?
Nothing that I ever did was intentional.
I'm not asking for your excuse. How did you cause that complete upper arm fracture? Tell the jury.
I have to live with this for the rest of my
Answer the question.
life.
How did you cause that complete?
You have devoured my family.
Ms. Groves, you answer the questions that are asked of you. You understand?
I've admitted to my guilt.
How did you?
And I have to live without my children. I'm done talking to you.
You are talking to me because you're sitting on the witness stand. Tell them how you caused that injury. Judge, I ask you to instruct the witness to answer the question.
Ms. Groves, by testifying, you're subject to cross-examination. You have to answer the questions on cross-examination that are relevant to these proceedings. This question is a relevant question. You will answer the question at this time. Ma'am, what is your answer to the last question? Ms. Hutchinson, step back for a minute.
I thought we were pushing, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
What is your answer to the last question? Council approach. Recess. Will remind you of my earlier admonition to you. Do not discuss this case amongst yourselves or with anyone else. Do not permit anyone to discuss it with you or in your presence. It is your duty not to form or express an opinion on this case until it is finally submitted to you. Ms. Groves, you should remain seated where you're at. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are excused at this time. During the recess, I'm going to give you an opportunity to advise your client as the ramifications of failing to submit herself to cross-examination in this matter. If she does not do that, I am going to strike her testimony in order for the jury not to consider it. Do you understand? You can discuss it with her up there off the record. If you need more privacy, we'll ask the spectators to leave. I expect her to submit herself to cross-examination in this matter.
At this time, I ask that the spectators leave.
Would ask the spectators to leave the courtroom. Court is recessed. Back on the record, 19 CR 586 A and B, State of Ohio versus Daniel Groves and State of Ohio versus Jessica Groves. We were beginning the cross-examination of the defendant Jessica Groves in this matter. Ms. Hutchinson, you may inquire of the witness.
Tell the jury how you caused that complete upper arm fracture.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No, I don't.
You remember the day you said the injuries were caused on the 27th, and he died on the 28th, so you remember all that detail, but you don't remember how you caused that upper arm fracture.
No, I don't.
Tell the jury why you wrote on your calendar on April 24th, worst day ever when Daniel was taken, but there was no entry about the worst day ever when you killed that baby.
I didn't kill my baby.
You didn't?
An accident.
How did you cause those injuries?
I don't remember.
Then how do you remember it was an accident?
Because I would never hurt my children intentionally. Never.
How did you cause those injuries?
I don't remember. I done told you that. And the worst day ever? The day that I lost my last child. Both of my children.
Look at this photograph, Jessica Groves. How do you not remember that? Tell the jury how it's possible that you would not remember doing that, if in fact you did it. Ma'am, tell the jury how you would not remember that.
Because my mind wasn't clear.
Why?
Because of drugs.
Are you telling this jury that all of these injuries occurred at one time? In one incident?
No.
How many times did you attack baby Dylan?
I never attacked him.
Then how many accidents did you have, Jessica Groves?
I don't remember.
Tell them what the accidents were.
You keep asking me the same questions and
Because
you're
you're
gonna
not
get the same
answering the
answers.
question, ma'am.
I told you I don't remember.
When was it that your husband realized you were pregnant? Wait a minute. When was it you realized you were pregnant?
Probably when I was about 5.5 months.
Which was when? What month?
October.
When was it your husband knew you were pregnant?
Toward the end of October, beginning of November.
husband didn't know you were doped up the whole time you were pregnant?
Because I kept it a secret.
Why did you guys tell your son that a dream catcher hurt that baby?
Because it did.
Tell the jury about that. You said you didn't remember. Tell the jury what happened with that dream catcher.
I didn't think that dream catcher had injuries to that extent.
So that accident didn't cause his death?
No.
Tell him what accident did.
I don't remember.
Why didn't you tell Jody Kunkel there were all these accidents that killed my baby?
Because I was scared.
Of what?
Everything.
What's everything? You were scared of what?
Of admitting the truth.
Well, tell the jury what the truth is. You didn't tell Detective Kunkel what the truth was. You didn't tell your son what the truth was. Tell this jury what the truth is.
I don't remember it all.
Why didn't you tell your sister Stacy Hall what the truth was? You told her this had nothing to do with drugs. I swear, nothing, Stacy. I would tell you.
Me and Stacy did not grow up together. Me and Stacy has not had a lot of communication over my 40 years.
Ma'am, why didn't you tell Stacy the truth? That's the question.
Why would I?
Why wouldn't you?
I've never had any family support over my 40 years.
Ma'am, why didn't you tell Stacy the truth?
Why would I?
Don't ask me questions.
Me and her's not that close. She is a half sister that we have never had that close relationship.
So you lied to her?
Yes, I did.
And you lied to your son?
Yes, I did.
And you lied to Detective Kunkel?
Yes, I did.
But you want this jury to believe you just don't remember and you're not lying to them. Look at these ladies and gentlemen and tell them.
I can't tell you something that I can't remember.
Who wrapped this baby's body in 6 layers of plastic and duct tape? Who did that?
I did.
You did. Daniel Groves didn't help you with that?
Yes, he did.
Tell him what happened. Tell him about that concealment.
I wanted to be able to go back and get my baby.
Ma'am, I'm not asking you for comments. Tell the jury about the day you wrapped that baby in plastic. Tell them what happened.
I don't quite remember it all.
You don't remember that either.
I know it happened. I remember bits and pieces, but no, I don't remember. Because when he died, part of me died. And I've just been on autopilot.
Ma'am, look at this picture. I don't.
What's the exhibit number of this evidence?
45, Your Honor. Where did you get all that? Real? Where'd you get all?
Outside.
You don't remember this chain? Those 6 layers of plastic and duct tape? 3 padlocks, 12 zip ties, 8 wire ties, 18 rocks? You don't remember that?
Not in detail, no I don't.
That's not a whole heck of a lot of planning?
No.
Why would you do that if you didn't murder this baby on purpose?
Because I was scared.
Scared of what?
Losing everything.
Is that why you're in here telling this jury the story today?
Objection. She needs to allow her time to answer the questions.
She's not answering the question.
She hasn't done it all the time, Your Honor.
Overrule Ms. Hutchinson. Make sure you don't talk over each other.
Yes, Your Honor.
your next question.
I want you to explain to the jury this process up here.
I can't
Why?
because I don't recall.
Who drove baby Dylan out to that well?
We both did.
Tell the jury how that happened and what you did.
We took him out to the well
How'd you get there?
on the four-wheeler.
And then what?
We put him in the well, then we sit in the field and cried.
Why is it that when we watch this video of you and your husband at the sheriff's office, there's not all this crying? I'm so worried about the dogs. Is that what you said?
I was in shock. I've been in shock. I've never got a chance to grieve the death of my baby.
I could have just a moment.
Judge, I have additional questions, but I'm not going to ask them.
Ms. Hutchinson, Mr. Stratton, any redirect?
Just a second, Your Honor.
Jessica? Everything you're saying today is the truth.
Yes.
You're finally coming clean, correct?
Yes, I am.
Nature of the objection.
It's leading the witness again.
Rephrase your question, Mr. Stratton.
Is there anything that the prosecutor has said you did not do?
I did not kill my baby intentionally.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Stratton. Ms. Scott, any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor, a few questions.
Ms. Groves, I know that you're claiming that you don't remember a lot of the details in this situation. However, do you recall whether or not Daniel Groves participated in the actions that caused Dylan's death?
No, he did not.
Okay. Did he in any way cause Dylan's death?
No.
Did the dream catcher falling on the baby cause some bruising on Dylan's head?
Slightly.
Okay. Is that what we heard Daniel Jr. testify to yesterday?
Yes.
Was there a laceration as a result of that bruising?
No.
Did that result in his death in any way?
No.
Originally, you were scared of admitting the truth, correct?
Yes.
You're admitting to that truth during the course of this trial?
Yes, I am.
And the truth includes that Daniel Groves did not participate in Dylan's death, correct?
Correct.
You lied to many people in this case, correct?
Yes, I have.
Ms. Hutchinson asked you if you lied to your sister. You did.
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson asked if you lied to your son. You did.
Yes.
Did you also lie to your husband?
Yes.
You're trying to set the record straight through this trial, correct?
Yes, I am.
The only part that Daniel Groves participated in was helping you to dispose of Dylan's body and place his body in the well after he was deceased, correct?
Yep.
He was not aware of any of your actions that caused baby Dylan to pass away, correct?
No, he was not.
Did he help you hide those actions?
Yes.
But only by disposing of the body after Dylan had already passed away, correct?
Yes.
You both took great care to wrap his body in plastic,
Yes, we did.
and that was for the purpose of maybe retrieving his body at a later time, correct?
Yes.
Did Daniel in any way, or Daniel did not in any way, know of any of your activity that caused a skull fracture that had healed on a prior occasion, did he?
No, he did not.
When that injury occurred, there was no outward signs of a cut, was there?
No, there was not.
In regards to the rib fractures that he received that we heard about that were healing, were there any outward signs that Daniel would have been aware of to show that that injury had happened?
No, there was not.
Okay. And it is correct that baby Dylan passed away on March the 28th.
Correct.
You and you alone were the one that caused the death of the baby Dylan.
Yes, I was.
There was nothing that Daniel did that caused his death, correct?
Correct.
There was nothing that he did that hid your actions other than helping you to assist him or assist you in hiding the baby after he had passed away, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. I have no further questions at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Any recross by the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sit number this, or Ms. Hutchinson?
59, Your Honor. You just told this jury that your husband didn't know about these injuries,
No, he did not.
but your 15-year-old son did?
No, he did not.
So your 15-year-old son lied in here yesterday when he said this whole baby's head where his hair would be was black and bruised? Look at the jury. Are you calling your son a liar?
No, he's not.
Your Honor, I would object. I do not believe that that was the characterization or the nature of the testimony yesterday.
How is it that your son saw this baby's head swollen and black, but your husband didn't? Look at the jury. Explain that to them.
I can't explain that to him because
Because what?
I don't know.
You don't know. You seem to know a lot of answers to Ms. Scott's question. Answer the question to the jury. How did your 15-year-old son see these injuries, know about them, but your husband didn't? Ms. Groves.
I don't know.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. Ma'am, you may step down. Have a seat at council table.
Oh boy, that was something for sure. Yeah, that was intense. So there was a couple things I was going to mention. Oh yeah, so as far as them taking the stand to begin with, absolutely insane. I don't know why they would agree to do that. Honestly, you know, the fact that it got to that point with her is shocking on one side, but also on the other side, kind of not, just given her attorney's patterns of being a man of a few words. But, you know, typically defense attorneys, if they're going to guide or think that their client is going to take the stand, typically they have like practice sessions and things like that to go over, like, hey, this is what the prosecution will do, and this is likely maybe some prep questions that they'll ask you. Let's practice, let's get some answers underway and your reactions underway. But it almost seems like she was just so unprepared, and she was so shocked, it felt like, and clueless that there was such thing as cross, and the fact that she was going to be forced to answer questions from the other side. I don't know if that's just on her or her attorney just really did not prep her at all for any of that. Again, given his lack of words in general throughout this trial, I guess I wouldn't be that shocked if he didn't fully prep her. It just seems like a lack of effort, and definitely backfired. And if the intent, you know, like you guys were saying, is to show her crying and make that look like that's remorse, I mean, she's just crying for herself. There's nothing that is alluding that she's crying about her child. She's not like, oh, my poor baby, or she's not even really acknowledging what happened. Another thing is her cop-outs are absolutely ridiculous of, I don't remember, because she remembers very vividly whether he played a role in the death and the burying, but yet doesn't remember anything else surrounding it. Yes, there's selective memory. There's a lot of things that can contribute, but come on. Yeah. So all in all, those two things really stuck out to me in regards to, in regards to this lack of preparation and how she even got put in this position with the prosecution. Yes, for us, it was, you know, enjoyable to see her squirm and, you know, have some pressure put on her and make her acknowledge it. I also was wondering if her attorney knew what she was going to say when she went on the stand. Again, with this lack of preparation, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't aware that she was just going to be like, yes, I did it. Yes, what do you want from me? On another note, I'm also wondering why she is standing up for her husband if he did play a bigger part, if she is remembering he did. I mean, I guess she could love him, but it just seems like, does she truly know the meaning of love at that point, you know, with all that she's done? That's a different story. All right, so we are going to get into the other defendant's testimony, Daniel's testimony, and see what he has to say. It was a little funny, though, because when I wrote in the chat about him panicking about what was going to happen when he was on the stand, when she was getting completely grilled, they panned over to his face, and his face was just, it was a different face than he has had this entire trial. You could see the fear in his eyes of, I'm going to have to go against that. So let's see what happens.
Could you please state your full name for the record?
Daniel Allen Groves Sr.
Okay. And make sure you keep your voice up.
Okay.
You're married to Jessica Groves?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and talk about an incident that has happened in your life, just so we can go ahead and what we call get the elephant out of the room. You do have a misdemeanor of the first degree shoplifting theft charge. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. And that incident, the date of that incident occurred on September the 15th of 2018. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Took place at Kroger.
That's correct.
And you actually were convicted of that charge later on in January of 2019, correct?
Correct.
And you were placed on probation, or sometimes called community control for that. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You did not get any jail time as a result of that charge?
I know it was suspended.
Okay. And that could be considered a crime of dishonesty, correct?
Yes, it could.
But is it your intention here today to tell the truth?
Absolutely.
Okay. Are you the father of Daniel and Dylan Groves?
Yes, I am.
And where did you reside?
At 2241 Mount Hope Road, Otway, Ohio.
Okay. When did you find out that Jessica was pregnant with Dylan?
It was somewhere in late October, 1st of November when she told me. She
Okay.
told me that she had known for a couple weeks, but had not told me.
Okay, and make sure you keep your voice up. I'm not sure if everybody else is hearing you or not.
Okay.
So she was several months along prior to you learning that she was pregnant, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is it because you're just not an observant individual, or she just wasn't showing very much?
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that she had got a little belly, but she had not been working, and I had been cutting some timber on my property and then working for myself, and we had ordered a lot of takeout and stuff, and I thought she had just gained some weight, which happens, up and down.
Okay. You heard, I believe it was on the second day that we were here, second or third day we were here, that a caseworker had made a note in the activity logs for Children's Services records that you indicated that Jessica did not go to prenatal appointments because she was too high. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, I do.
And could you please put that into context for us? Was that something that you knew that she was missing prenatal appointments, or something you learned after the fact?
That was something I learned after the fact, and I did explain that to her. I told her that when she found out she was pregnant late, she had only had a couple appointments. I was, I wasn't employed for nobody at the time, so I was picking up odd and end jobs, and I was working when she was supposed to go to the appointments, and to my understanding, she was going to the appointments. I didn't find out until after the fact.
Okay. So when did you actually learn she had missed all those prenatal appointments?
After Dylan was born.
Okay. Is that when she came clean with you?
Yes, she came clean to me actually about 5 minutes into the ride to the hospital that she had been using drugs and that she had not went to her appointments.
Was that a shock to you?
To say the least.
Okay. While you were at the hospital, did you attempt to answer the medical staff's questions?
Yes, I did attempt to answer questions, but I did hesitate some because, you gotta understand, I learned a lot on the way in there. I was trying to process all that. I was worried about my wife. I was extremely worried about my child being born at the time. I felt some intimidation from her. Being with somebody for 24 years, I just a protective nature.
Okay. Did you want to answer their questions?
Absolutely.
Were you afraid to, based on those circumstances, to answer their questions?
Yes, I was somewhat afraid.
Okay. We heard there was a description by some of the staff that came in and testified that you were actually looking at Jessica prior to answering those questions. Was that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay. Was the whole situation intimidating to you?
Absolutely.
Is Jessica intimidating to you at some times?
Yes, she can be.
Is that something that's inherent in your relationship or runs through your relationship?
Rephrase your question.
Sure.
Objection sustained.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. I'll rephrase. How so is she intimidating to you at times?
Just at times when certain things would happen or occur, she would sometimes threaten me with, causing problems in our marriage, leaving me, stuff to that nature.
Okay. So was this typical of your relationship throughout the years, that there would be periods of Jessica intimidating you or putting blame on you or trying to...
Objection leading sustained. Rephrase the question.
Okay. Was this typical behavior of your relationship with Jessica?
Yes.
Still leading, Your Honor. That's an overrule.
At the hospital, did you go to the nursery and see baby Dylan?
Yes, I did.
Okay. When did you go and see him?
Exact time, I don't know, but I had actually asked one of the nurses, I don't recall which one, if I could go, and she had told me that I needed to wait because where he was having problems, they needed to take him and assess him and put him on oxygen, and they would let me know when I could come.
So you were waiting for medical personnel to indicate to you, or were you waiting for medical personnel to indicate to you that it was okay to go down to the nursery?
Yes, I was waiting. I never did get told that, so I eventually asked again.
And we heard testimony early on that you arrived down there approximately an hour or so after the baby was born?
Yeah, no, I don't have an exact time, but it was somewhere like around 7.
And when you went down there, did you speak with medical staff about Dylan and his condition?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you try to ascertain what state of health he was in and if he was doing all right?
Yes, I asked I'm not sure which one it was. I don't remember her name. I recall her face. She was in here, but I asked her how he was doing, stuff to that nature, and why he was having to be put on oxygen. And
were you also concerned about your wife and her health as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. Did you stay at the hospital that entire day?
Yes.
Okay. It's my understanding, and we heard some testimony, that Children's Services arrived at the hospital sometime that evening, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you were asked to produce a urine sample for a urine screen?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Did you fake that or falsify the results of that test in any way?
Absolutely not.
Was anyone in the restroom with you when you produced that sample?
No, I was alone. The door was cracked. Miss Johnson was standing right outside the door.
Okay. Did anyone besides yourself put urine in that sample cup?
Objection, ours is leading. Brian? Leading.
Just
Line of questions.
rephrase the question, Ms. Scott.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Describe the process of putting urine in the cup.
I went into the bathroom. She had tore some labels off the cup, prepared to get it ready. Told me to go in there to put urine in the cup, put the lid back on it, set it down, or bring it back out to her. Do not flush the toilet. Do not wash my hands.
Did you follow those instructions?
Yes, I did.
Was Daniel Jr. in the restroom with you?
No, Daniel Jr. was not even at the hospital at this time.
Okay. Was anyone else in the restroom with you at that time?
No, there was not.
Okay. You heard a nurse describe that later on in that afternoon, when she encountered you for the second time, that you appeared as if you were on something. Did you hear that testimony?
Yes, I did.
Had you taken any illegal drugs?
No, I had not. I had been up for over 30 some hours straight, though.
Okay. Would that account for being quiet, maybe looking glassy-eyed?
I would say it would, yes.
Okay. At Children's Services Board, you once again took a urine sample, and we heard that described by Patricia Kraft here in her testimony.
Yes.
Did you hear that? Do you recall hearing that testimony?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Please describe that procedure for the court as well.
I came into the office and
Can I just interrupt you right there? Did you know you were going to have to produce a urine sample that day?
absolutely not. I was called and told I needed to come to the office to sign paperwork to pick up, that was on a Friday, to pick up my son Dylan on Monday morning.
Okay. So what happened when you got to Children's Services that day?
I arrived there. I spoke to Lisa Thomas, and she had me fill out some paperwork, sign my name on some stuff, went over some general basic stuff with me. They took me back to the restroom, gave me the cup, same procedure as a hospital. I went in, they left the door cracked. I went in, put urine in the cup, did not flush the toilet, washed my hands.
Did you follow the procedure that Children's Services asked you to do?
Yes, I did.
But part of that procedure is that you're not supposed to run water and not supposed to flush the toilet.
Correct.
Okay, did you wait until after you got the all clear to flush the toilet and wash your hands?
Yes, they asked me to bring it out to them. I took them out to it. They told me that I could go in and wash my hands.
Okay. Was anyone else in the restroom with you?
No, there was not.
Okay. Was Daniel Jr. in the restroom with you?
No, he was not even there.
Okay. So let's talk about the urine that Daniel told us about yesterday. Were you collecting that urine for yourself?
No, I was not.
Okay, who was you collecting that urine for?
I was actually collecting that urine for a best friend of mine. I understand it was wrong, but I admit that I was doing that.
So why weren't you giving your own friend your own urine?
Because at a bachelor party, I had smoked some marijuana and occasionally would smoke, a little.
So
and I was worried that it was maybe still in my system because I wasn't for sure the time frame on that.
So was it ever your intention, or were you using that urine of Daniel's to fake test with children's services?
No.
Let's talk a little bit about the bruising and the swelling that Daniel described yesterday. Tell the court what you believed happened. Well, first of all, do you recall this incident that he's talking about?
Yes, I recall the bruising, but not the swelling.
Okay. When did this happen, if you recall?
It was somewhere around late February, I believe. I'd actually went out. We was going to go grocery shopping, and I'd went out to start the car and let it warm up and clear some snow. There was a little snow on, and I came back in, and my wife had told me that the dream catcher had failed, and she said that he got it caught up in his arm, which there was a red mark on his arm from the dream catcher. It had, like the little stringy stuff in it. And we figured that he probably freaked out and went to moving his arms and hit it. It was just a light bruise. The bruising was going within less than 2 days. I actually, because I kind of wondered at first, and I actually took the dream catcher. There was like a little a wolf or Indian thing on it. And I even held it to his head, and it was actually, a perfect match to what the light bruise was.
Okay. Please describe the area of bruising that you witnessed and you saw.
It was just a small bruise on his forehead. I'm not for sure which side it was on. I don't recall, but it was just a small bruise on his forehead.
You heard Daniel describe, and he made a motion that there was bruising where his hair would have been or where his hair should be. Is that an accurate description?
No, I don't think that is accurate. I never saw no swelling whatsoever.
Okay. Did you at any time suspect that there was more to that injury other than that dream catcher falling and hitting him in the head?
No, I did not.
Did you see any lacerations to the baby?
None.
Okay. So let's talk about juvenile court. There were some juvenile court proceedings in this case regarding Dylan and Daniel. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You heard how Mr. Dunham described how males are required to give urine samples for juvenile court proceedings.
Yes, I heard that.
Okay. Did you ever take a test for juvenile court proceedings, a urine test?
Yes, I did. I'm not sure an exact date, but it was like within 5 to 7 days after Dylan's, when he was born.
If I showed you a document that had a date on that test, would that refresh your recollection?
Yes, it probably would.
Your Honor, may I retrieve that document and show it to him to refresh his recollection?
Your Honor, may we approach?
Do you step back here? Your Honor, for purposes of refreshing recollection, we would ask that this would be marked as Rose Defendant, Daniel Rose Defendant, Exhibit A. Correct. Let the record reflect on showing that to Mr. Tiemann.
You may approach.
Now, may I approach the witness, Your
You may
Honor?
approach the witness.
Daniel, I'm going to ask that you take a look at that document and see if it helps refresh your recollection in this matter.
Yes, that's the document that I did sign on January 17th, 2019.
Could you please state that date again?
January 17th of 2019.
So is that the date that you would have provided a urine screen for juvenile court?
Yes.
Okay. And was your urine screen negative at that time?
Yes, it was.
And once again, was Daniel Jr. in the restroom with you?
No, he was not present.
Was anyone in the restroom with you other than the court officer administering the test?
No, just 2 court officers.
There were 2 court officers?
Yes, they actually took me and one took me and another guy took another guy down at the same time.
Okay. Was there an officer watching you the entire time?
Yes.
Did you have to stand at a urinal?
Yes.
And as a result of taking drug screens for juvenile court, are you required to sign off on those results?
Yes.
And did you on this occasion?
Yes, my signature is right here on this paper.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the Help Me Grow agency that we heard testimony from since the trial has been pending. Did you understand or have any knowledge that you needed to participate in that program?
I was never clarified that it was mandatory. I was just under the understanding that it was a voluntary program.
Did you think that Dylan needed to participate in that program?
I at the time did not even know about what all the the program provided and stuff, but I did not think that he needed anything like that. No.
Okay. Do you recall getting these letters or phone calls that they discussed in their testimony?
I do remember getting letters later on, but cell phone service is limited out there. I mean, I did get a message from her just as they spoke about the weather. It had got canceled at one time, and I did have a couple voicemails from her later, yes.
Okay. Did you think you were doing anything wrong by not participating in the program?
Your Honor, leading. Sustained. Repeat your question.
Did you come to any kind of conclusion about the Help Me Grow program?
No, other than I just thought it was a voluntary program. You could participate if you wanted, and if you didn't, you didn't have to.
Okay, thank you. Now let's talk about the lab work that was requested by Dr. Hudson that was discussed a couple of days ago. Please tell the court, please tell the jury about that lab work and what you did, what you didn't do, what you thought you were required to do.
Okay, so at first, at one of Dylan's appointments, he had told me about the levels. I'm unsure that name on it, but he told me that the levels were low, and he told me that a lot of times there was some false negatives, but he wanted to be sure. So after his appointment that day, we took him to the hospital. We actually had to take him to 2 different labs because the first lab we took him to in the Fulton building, they did not feel they had the right stuff to do the test with such a young newborn. So we took him to SOMC at the hospital, to their lab, and they performed the test. Then there was some misunderstanding about the test. I had actually got a call from one of the lab workers, and he had told me that there was some confusion about one of the tests and that he was not sure that Dr. Hudson wanted to perform it, but he wasn't for sure. He wasn't for sure of what test that Dr. Hudson did not get that he wanted. So he was supposed to contact him and contact me back, and I never did make communications with him again.
Okay. So Daniel, let's get into this. Did you ever see or suspect that Jessica was causing the injuries to Dylan that would have resulted in his rib fractures or his skull fracture?
Absolutely not.
How could you not have known? That's what everybody's going to want to know.
Believe me, I have asked myself that every day, a million times since. I don't know. I mean, he did do some extra crying, I thought, but I even Googled and looked up because I had about babies being born addicted to drugs, and I done research and read on it that said that newborns, sometimes up to 6 months, would do excessive crying, be more irritable, and stuff to that nature. So I just took it as that was what it was. And I read, looked it up what maybe would help him, and it said to maybe just stimulate him, change his environment at the time or something. So there would be times that he would maybe get to crying a little more. I would pick him up and mess with him, and he would stop. I had a workshop out back of my house. Sometimes I would take him out there with me just to change his environment, and it would help.
Other than the incident that we have already talked about, that Daniel described yesterday, did you notice any other outward signs of bruising or swelling to Dylan?
No, I did not.
Did you in any way cause the death of Dylan?
Absolutely not.
Did you observe Jessica in any way cause the death of Dylan?
No, I did not.
Did you suspect any behavior of Jessica that would have resulted in Dylan's death?
No, I did not. She was always a loving, caring mother to Daniel Jr., and I never expected anything like this.
Did you actively participate in Dylan's death or observe anyone, including Jessica, cause Dylan's death?
No, I did not.
And once again, when did he pass away?
March 28th, 2019, within probably a couple hours after the social worker or the CPS worker was there.
So why did you tell Jody Conkle that it was a day or two after the caseworker was there?
Because at the time, I'd been in such grief and shock and being sick, because I did use some drugs after my last son was taken. I just went through the experience of losing my baby and losing my older son, and I fell to drugs. I admit that. I wasn't even sure of the date that the CPS worker was there, and that's why I told Ms. Conkle that it was the 28th, 29th, 30th, somewhere right in there. I wasn't for sure, what date it was at the time.
You had a landmark for the day with Children's Services worker being
Yeah.
there, but you weren't exactly sure what the date was.
Yeah, I just wasn't for sure.
Sustained. Rephrase your question.
Did you use Patricia Kraft being there as the landmark for the date of Dylan's death?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was that the best day you could reference it to?
Yes,
Sustained.
When you were talking to Jody Conkle, were you doing your best to give her a frame of reference of time?
Objection, on a reading.
Sustained. Rephrase your questions, Ms. Scott. Open-ended questions.
Please describe for the court the process of giving Jody Conkle a day for when baby Dylan had passed away.
The date that the CPS worker was there last.
So when you were testing clean for Children's Services and Juvenile Court in January, were you actually clean?
Yes, I was.
So when did you start using?
Early May of 2019.
So what happened after you discovered Dylan had passed away?
Well, I had came into the living room and found him in his pack and play where he laid out during the daytime. I'd found him there deceased, and I went into total shock, grief, of course.
How did Jessica behave towards you after you, strike that, Your Honor, I want to rephrase. Was Jessica in the room with you when you discovered that Dylan had passed away?
When I first walked in there, she was not, but she had followed me in within just probably a minute.
So what was Jessica's reaction?
She was very upset, of course, in shock too. She seemed somewhat nervous and scared, and started telling me that, if they would be blaming it on me and us, and because of being involved in CPS.
What was her demeanor and her behavior like towards you?
She was very radical, very forthcoming, very just kind of pressuring me.
Was there any of this fear and intimidation that you had described from her behavior in the past?
Jesus' name. Rephrase the question.
What were your conversations?
Just about CPS, thinking that it would be both our faults. And she said, kept telling me, they're going to blame you. They're going to blame you. You have custody of the baby. They're going to blame you and not me.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel very scared.
What was her demeanor like?
She was forceful, kept over and over and over repeating to me that they would blame me because I had custody of the baby.
What became your honest belief at that time in regards to being blamed for Dylan's death, based on Jessica's attitude and conversations to you?
I got set in my mind that they probably would blame me because I had custody and was responsible for him.
What went into your decision making to place Dylan into the well?
That same stuff, and her forcing me and kept telling me that they was going to blame me.
What was your reason for not being truthful at first with the law enforcement?
I was just very scared, very afraid.
Were you sick?
Yes, I was sick. I was very afraid of they was going to just blame it all on me, basically.
And was that based on what Jessica had told you she would do?
Yes.
Overruled.
Yes, it was.
Again, Daniel, did you cause Dylan's death?
Absolutely not.
Did you in any way hide him from Children's Services while he was alive?
No, I did not. Did I cancel some appointments? Yes, I did, but I did not know why hide him from CPS.
Did you hurt him in any way?
Absolutely not.
Did you help Jessica hurt him?
No.
Did you know she would hurt him or cause his death?
No.
Your Honor, I have no more questions at this time. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. You described this relationship that you have with Jessica and that you've been together over 24 years and that you've been married for over 20. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Even though you've been together for all of that time and you've been married for a significant portion of time, if you had suspected she was capable of causing injuries that would cause him to be seriously harmed or that would have resulted in his death, what would you have done in regards to Jessica being permitted to be around him?
I would absolutely not have let her around him. Just like if I would have knew that any of these injuries had occurred to him, it would have been a total different decision to when I decided to help her hide him too. I at the time just thought he had just passed away for some other reason.
Do you believe that you were deceived by Jessica?
Actually, rephrase your question, Ms. Scott.
Is this a situation where you were deceived by Jessica? Sorry, Your Honor.
Yeah, she's still waiting. Go ahead and ask
Okay.
the modified witness.
Okay. Throughout the time that you had Dylan in your home, throughout the time that Jessica had access to him, were you or do you have a belief that you were deceived by Jessica?
Absolutely.
Did you do anything? Did you have any other behaviors, did you have any other responsibilities in this case other than not reporting his death to authorities?
Other than helping her take him to the well, I had no other part in it.
Did you have any other responsibilities other than help prepare Dylan to put him in those crates?
Can you rephrase the question?
Did you have any other responsibility in his death or hiding from law enforcement other than not reporting his death, preparing him to be put in those crates, and ultimately placing him in the well?
No, I had no other involvement in it.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Mr. Stratton, do you wish to cross-examine?
Just a couple questions, Your Honor. Mr. Groves, how long have you and Jessica been together?
Approximately 24 years.
24 years. And of those years, how long have you been married?
Over 20.
Over 20. In any time over those 20 years, was there a point in which you have seen terrible behavior out of Jessica Groves?
Terrible
Except
as in,
here recently.
Terrible as in?
Did she ever harm your oldest child?
Absolutely not.
No indication from him?
No.
Okay. So, you were together for this entire period of time and come to understand how she interacts with the child.
Correct.
Okay. Is it a surprise to you that this happened?
Absolutely. To say the least.
And once again, he died on March 28th, correct?
He died March 28th after the CPS worker left.
Further questions, Your Honor?
Mr. Stratton, state may cross-examine.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Groves,
Yes, sir.
isn't it true that you promised Children's Services Board that you were employed?
Yes, I did.
Isn't it true that you indicated to the Children's Services Board you worked at Rural King?
Yes, it was.
Isn't it true you led Children's Services to believe?
We need some time to answer it.
You've been answering overruled.
Isn't it true that you led Children's Services to believe you were still employed at Rural King?
Yes, it was.
Isn't it true that you promised Children's Services that you didn't have drug problem?
Yes, it was.
Isn't it true that you didn't mention to Children's Services any marijuana?
I did not.
Isn't it true that you were, for a period of months before and after you had the baby in your home, collecting urine from your son, Daniel?
Before, yes.
So when Daniel says before and after, he is lying.
I do not recall giving him or asking him for any urine after Dylan's birth.
You heard him testify here yesterday, correct?
I heard him do that, but I think he was mistaken on dates.
So you're saying suddenly you don't recall this from yesterday. You don't recall giving it to him after, getting it from him after.
No.
Well, explain the process where you got it from him.
I would ask him to put urine into a cup, and I would put it into another bottle.
Smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
Easier to conceal.
Mm-hmm.
Easier to keep warm.
Sir, you need to answer yes or no, please.
Easier to keep warm? I have no idea about that.
You have no idea. We had a good buddy that had a good idea. Did he tell you how to do that? Is that what happened there?
He never told me how he did it.
Never told you how to. You just knew to put it in some kind of smaller cup for concealment.
Well, the cup that I had him collected in did not have a lid or nothing on it.
Okay, so then the other cup had a lid.
Mm-hmm.
It was smaller.
Yes.
For concealment.
I don't know for concealment. I just know it was smaller to give it to my friend.
And it's your testimony that you were fearful that you were going to test positive for marijuana.
Yes, because I was unaware of how long it stayed in my system.
Okay. And so then you tested at Children's Services, correct?
Yes.
You tested clean.
Yes.
But then you still had Dylan give you urine.
Daniel
give you urine.
After Dylan was born?
Yes.
No.
No. So Daniel's totally mistaken about that.
I think he's just misunderstood, yes.
So you think he misunderstands when his dad comes up to him and says, pee in a cup for me?
On dates? Yes, I do. He's been through a lot in the last year.
He sure has. I'll withdraw the commentary, Your Honor. Apologize to the court.
Objection sustained.
So these nurses at the hospital, you heard their testimony the other day.
Yes.
You heard their experience.
Yes.
You heard the drug epidemic that they're battling on a daily basis at Southern Ohio Medical Center.
Yes.
You're saying all those nurses, that nurse that said she saw you high later in that day, was wrong.
Yes, she was.
She was wrong or lying?
Yes.
One or the other, right?
I don't think she was lying. I think she was just mistaken.
She was mistaken.
Everybody's not right all the time, are they?
No, they're not.
Absolutely.
But I'll ask the questions. All right?
Sorry.
So they were wrong.
They was mistaken on me. Yes, they was.
And Dylan, or not Dylan, and Daniel was mistaken.
Just by a date.
So you're denying leaving the hospital to get high at that point.
I did not leave the hospital and get high, no.
They were also wrong about you're relating to them that she hadn't been going to prenatal care. You were aware she hadn't been going to prenatal care because she was too high to go.
I was not aware.
Objection. I would ask that he would clarify who the they was, because I do not believe that that was medical staff. If he's still indicating medical staff, that was...
Don't argue your objection.
Sorry.
Overruled.
Will you repeat the question?
Isn't it true you represented that she wasn't going to prenatal care because she was too high?
I did to CPS workers after the fact that I found out.
So you never told that to anyone else?
No.
And you've never phrased that in a way, you're saying they misinterpreted what you said.
Misinterpreted what I said about what?
Because you had knowledge that she wasn't going to prenatal care because she was high.
Because I was told that by her.
But when they testified here, you had knowledge in their impression, correct?
The nurses?
Nurses, CPS workers, whoever else you told.
Yes, because she told me that on the way to the hospital that morning.
Let me ask you about another promise you made to Children's Services. Isn't it true that you promised Children's Services that your wife would not be in the home unsupervised or overnight?
Yes, I did.
You broke that promise, didn't you?
As to which aspect?
Did you break that promise or not? How hard is it?
She did stay there a couple nights. Yes, she did.
Just a couple nights?
Yes.
So when Daniel said she was there, he just been a couple nights? Is that your testimony here today?
She was not leaving until after he was asleep, and she was returning right before he got up for school, because I was worried that he was going to be extremely worried about her not being there, because he was.
So you allowed that to happen?
A couple times, yes, I did.
Did you report to Children's Services that you violated the conditions of the safety plan or the safety, the any of those plans?
I
Case
did.
plan or
I
stay?
did tell Patricia Kraft that she did stay there one night, and Patricia Kraft told me that that was fine. She appreciated my honesty.
Did Patricia Kraft testify to that?
I'm not aware if she did or not.
You can see that baby Dylan had 3 separate instances of injuries.
Yes, I know that now.
You know that now. But you testified on direct that you had no way of knowing that you didn't know of that, correct?
No, I did not. Other than the small bruise from the dream catcher.
Baby Dylan had all these injuries and you didn't notice it.
I had to just be inside my home or briefly stepping out to go outside to take care of my dog or something.
You heard from the testimony. Did you care for the child at the home?
Yes, I did.
Did you bathe the child?
Yes, I did.
Change the child's diapers?
Yes, I did.
Change the child's clothing?
Yes, I did. Are you asking me if I was the only one that done it?
No, I'm asking you, did you do that?
Okay. Yes, I did.
State's Exhibit 67, Your Honor. Sir, these nodules we see here in this exhibit, baby Dylan's ribs. It's just on the other layer of the skin. You're saying you didn't see anything in his rib cage, any bruising?
No, I did not see no bruising. Never.
State's Exhibit 58. You didn't see that bruising?
No.
State's Exhibit 58. You didn't see the bruising on the head?
No, and as I recall, the expert said that not always was there bruising.
No, but your son said he saw bruising all around the head, didn't he?
I did not see no bruising other than no bruise on his forehead.
We have this picture from that same exhibit. Has bruising all around his forehead, doesn't it?
I recall the expert saying that that could have been from post-mortem.
But it just happens to match what Daniel Jr. said the bruising was, didn't it?
It would appear to.
I'll leave that to the jury to decide. Well, let's talk about this. You remember Dr. Hudson testifying?
Yes, I do.
If the baby had that kind of injury, he'd be crying in pain.
Yes, I remember that testimony.
You remember Dr. Brown testifying that the other indicia of an issue not only would be bruising, swelling, but the baby crying or screaming in pain.
Yes, I do.
If you recall talking to Jody Conkle on June 14th, 2019.
I recall talking to her a few times, but I don't remember which exact date.
Okay. Well, do you remember at one point in that conversation with her talking about him crying and crying and crying, and you take him out to that building and he'd suddenly stop crying?
Yes, I mentioned that before, that I thought it was from him being born addicted to drugs.
Bring him back in the house.
I would object and allow him to have my witness finish answering the question.
Finish his answer, don't talk over each other.
I'm sorry, sir, did you finish your answer?
Yes, as I stated before, I thought it was because of him being born addicted to drugs. Like I said, I looked it up and they said that infants sometimes up to 6 months would be more irritable, more touchy, do a lot more crying.
So you looked it up on Google, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I believe it was Google, yes. It was somewhere online.
Somewhere online.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't call CPS?
Over some extra crying? No.
Didn't talk to your LPN wife?
I did talk to her about it, and she told me that it was most likely due to being addicted to drugs.
Same lady you're scared of?
Yes.
Didn't call Dr. Hudson?
No, I had no concern to call a doctor. It was just merely crying.
So
He
you
was
don't
never-
remember telling Detective Conkle that you saw your wife hit the baby a couple times.
I said that I had what I thought were dreams of it, but I was unsure if they were true or not. I was
Did you or
very
did you
sleep
not
deprived.
say you saw your wife you saw your wife strike the baby?
I said I did, but I thought it was dreams.
So it's a dream.
I was very sleep deprived.
Isn't it true you said to Detective Conkle, I know it's fucked up, I should have never done this way, I knew better. And I seen her hit him probably 4 times, probably.
I don't recall how many times I said.
4 times on the head? Do you remember Detective Conkle asking you that?
I don't recall what questions were asked.
You don't recall answering yeah
I do recall answering yes
to that question?
to those questions, yes.
So you do remember telling Detective Conkle 4 times in the head,
But
answering that?
I didn't say that I recall her hitting. I said a smack.
So you're not saying her hit him probably 4 times?
My exact words, I don't recall exactly, no.
Isn't it true you told Detective Conkle she said because he wouldn't stop crying and because she was so agitated and aggravated, and if I bought her Coke, she wouldn't be that way? You don't recall hearing that?
I recall saying that we did fight because she was wanting me to buy her drugs, yes.
So you do recall her threatening the child?
A direct threat, no.
No, not a direct threat. Okay, so you saw her strike the baby 4 times, correct?
Somewhere around there, yes.
And you didn't take it as a threat that she was aggravated with the baby, but all you need to do was buy her Coke?
As a direct threat, no.
That didn't give you cause for concern for the safety of this baby?
Yes, it did give me a cause for concern.
Okay, so now you are concerned at your wife's behavior in the home about the danger to the baby.
Yes, I was, but she was.
And what did you do? Did you call Children's Services? Did you call Children's Services and tell them?
No, I did not. She was going through therapy.
Did you call the police?
No, I did not.
Did you call Andrea Bowling?
No, I did not.
Did you go down to the neighbors and say, I'm concerned?
No, I did not.
Did you kick her out of the house that she wasn't supposed to be in the first place?
She was not living there all the time. She was allowed to be there during the day.
And you let her come back in after that?
Yes, I did.
You go on to say, one time I saw her, she had a hold of him like below his arms. Remember this? Telling Jetty Conkle that?
Or she picked him up aggressively out of a seat, yes.
Like by his ribs or something, and she just kind of went, ah! You remember that?
I don't recall exactly what all we talked about, no.
Matter of fact, didn't you tell Detective Conkle that might have been how he got his broken ribs?
I said I wonder now if that wasn't how.
Well, you saw it then, right?
I didn't see nothing that I thought would occur to any injuries.
You're not making this up then, are you, Dave?
No, I'm not.
You're not making this whole story up that she's the one that caused the injuries, are you?
Absolutely not.
So you saw her do that?
I saw her be aggressive with him, but cause no injuries, no. I even observed the child.
Okay, so now it's your testimony that didn't cause any injuries. Any injuries.
No, it did not.
So Dr. Brown is full of crap. Is that your testimony?
Dr. Brown did not say that would cause the injuries.
No, let's see what Dr. Brown said. Dr. Brown, isn't it true that she said that the fractures on the rib were healing fractures?
Yes.
She said that was, in her opinion, her medical opinion from years of practicing medicine, that those were the first fractures on this baby.
I believe that's what she said, yes.
Okay. And then, what was the second fracture she said?
I think on the head.
On the head.
Was it on the back of the head?
So you testified, or she testified, that there was a 2-inch fracture with signs of healing on the head, on the right side of the head.
Yes.
Okay. And that happened, according to the professional, at a different time than the rib cage, correct?
Yes, I believe that's what she said.
And you just said you saw Jessica, if you're telling the truth, hit this baby 4 times.
Yes, but not to the extent to cause a fracture.
Okay. So then we see, it's a good point. When is it, in your opinion, ever appropriate to hit a 2-month-old baby?
I didn't say it was appropriate.
But yet, you took this baby back into your home, correct?
Yes.
You promised to protect this baby, that you would be the father.
Yes.
And when this baby was hit 4 times in the head, and when this baby was shaken by your wife, did you call Children's Services?
No, I did not.
Did you call 911?
No, I did not.
Did you call Andrea Bowling?
No, I did not.
Did you go to a neighbor's house and say, hey, get my wife out of there?
No, I did not.
Did you stop the hand that was hurting that baby?
No, I did not.
You failed to act. Correct?
Correct.
And because you failed to act, Dylan is dead today.
Those injuries would not have caused his death.
Why did she have access to that baby?
Because she was his mother.
And you were his father.
Yes, I was. Man.
And you saw multiple occasions where she was causing injury to this baby.
Just within a couple days.
And you did nothing.
No, I did not.
You were around to see Jessica perform physical acts to those 2 of those 4 areas that baby Dylan, your son, was injured.
Yes.
You didn't stop it.
I didn't stop it. I
You
stopped
didn't stop
it.
any of that, did you?
Yeah, I stopped it then, yes.
Okay, well then, if you stopped it, how did he get a 3rd fracture?
I have no idea.
No idea. So he gets another fracture on the head. Correct?
Yes.
And then, all the bones in his arm were broken completely in 2.
That's what it says, yes. I was unaware of that.
You're unaware of that. I was unaware of that. But this happened after the 2 you were aware of, correct?
They had to, yes.
They had to, exactly. And then the broken leg happened after that as well.
Correct.
And you want this jury to believe that you thought the baby just died.
Yes. I thought he did just die. I had seen no more outbursts from her.
That you're not responsible for this baby's death.
No, I'm not responsible. Did I make mistakes? Absolutely.
I didn't ask you a question. So, do you understand blunt force trauma?
Yes.
All right, tell me, what's blunt force trauma?
Getting struck by something very hard.
Do you understand that the baby's bones aren't brittle, that they're rubbery? It can take a lot more than we think they can.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
So, you deny seeing the blunt force trauma of such a nature that it broke the upper arm bones, the upper arm bone, the lower arm bones, and the leg of your baby boy.
Yes, I never saw nothing that
Where
would
were
cause
you?
that.
Where were you?
I was in the home.
You were in the home?
I mean, I didn't stay with him 24/7. I mean,
Well, who did then? If you weren't there, who was there?
Well, I mean, there was times when I would go into another room, of course.
You go in another room, did you hear your baby screaming in pain?
No, I did not.
Did you hear multiple thumps?
No, I did not.
You did tell about one thump you heard when she was back in the bedroom with you.
Yeah, I said
right?
I heard a thump, and she had told me that her purse or something fell off the bed.
Oh, so...
And he was laying there fine, so I would have no reason to think anything else was wrong.
All right, well, that's an occasion where she wasn't being supervised with the baby, was she?
I went to the bathroom. Was I supposed to take the baby to the bathroom with me, too?
Your wife's on drugs, correct?
And at the time, I did not think she was, no.
Oh.
She was going into treatment. I thought she was doing better.
She hadn't been to treatment since February 8th. Are you telling this court you didn't know that?
I did not. I knew
Or did you
that
bury your head in the sand?
I did not know that she had missed all those appointments. No, I did not.
So you didn't know she was back on drugs.
No, I did not.
You did know she had some violent tendencies, right?
I knew she had some, yes.
Yeah, she threatened you during the course of your marriage, didn't she?
Yeah, not violently.
So then you're asking me a question of whether you should have taken the baby to the bathroom or not with you. What do you think?
I don't think I should have, no. I mean, if the baby was laying there sleeping, why would I take him to the bathroom with me?
So do you think that all these injuries, from your knowledge of being a father, you have an older son who's 14, correct?
Correct.
Did he ever get hurt growing up?
Yes, minor injuries.
Minor injuries from what?
From just being a boy and playing
Being a
outside.
boy. Falling?
hmm
Jumping out of trees? Yes?
He never had no injuries falling out of a tree, no, but
Wreck a bicycle? What kind of injuries did he get?
I just common injuries from a boy, got fingers smashed, stuff like that. He never really had no major injuries.
So from your experience, your common experience as a father with a 14-year-old son, do you honestly want this jury to believe that there was a drop of the baby that caused all these injuries?
Do I believe that a drop of the injury caused these baby? I'm not aware of what caused these injuries. So
You're not aware. But you would acknowledge something horribly violent happened to your son to break all those bones.
Obviously.
Where were you when this happened?
I had to be around the home.
Where were you when your son was dying?
Excuse me?
Where were you when your son was dying?
I had to be in the home or outside the home.
And at that point, do you recall another promise you made to Children's Services about choosing your children over your wife? Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
You broke that promise, didn't you?
I do not feel I broke that promise, no.
You do admit that you helped wrap your son for concealment in a cocoon. You admit that?
Yes, I do admit that.
And dropped him down a deep, dark, water-filled well.
Yes, I have admitted that. I admitted that from the beginning.
And you knew where that well was.
Yes.
Because you hunted there and you lost some of your dogs there.
Yes.
And that broke you up losing dogs, didn't it?
That's been years ago. I mean, when you have hunting dogs, you lose them all the time. No, it never really broke me up.
So at that point, your child is dead. Did you notice any swelling of the legs or arms or anything in that regard?
No, I did not.
Now, you guys changed that child, baby Dylan, your newborn son, before you put him in the well, didn't you?
Excuse me, what was the question?
You changed him out of clothes or put him in different clothes before you put him in the well, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Well, there's a laceration on his arm, and there's not one on the clothing he had on. How do you explain that, then?
I don't know, but we did not change him. He was in the same, who got put in there, the very same thing he had on when he died. The only thing different was he had a blanket wrapped around him.
So you were near there when he died. You know, the same clothing, weren't you?
Yes.
You didn't do anything to stop it when he died, did you?
How was I going to stop something that had already happened?
Why even bother? Why even try? Is that your testimony?
No, not why would I try. I'm saying how would I do anything after he's deceased?
Heaven forbid he have a proper burial.
I admitted to that.
But let's see, what did you tell Children's Services throughout this time when your wife's shaking your baby and hitting her heads? What were you telling them? Well, let's see, what were you doing? Were you missing juvenile court?
I missed an appointment, yes.
So that's a yes?
Yes.
Were you telling Children's Services that your baby boy was growing like a weed?
Yes, I did. He was.
You didn't tell him he was getting shaken by his mom or struck in the head multiple times, did you?
No, I did not. It only happened one time.
Oh, okay, so the time where she's shaking him like this and hitting him in the head was only one occasion?
It was within 2 days, yes.
Within 2 days? That's more than one, isn't it?
I'm not sure on the time frame, no.
Not sure on the time frame. So this time frame of healing fractures and Daniel Jr.'s testimony that the baby had that bruising for 3 days to a week, those are all bunk. Is that what you're saying?
I never saw any swelling or bruising like that, just from on the forehead is all I ever saw.
You never saw any of that. Your 14-year-old son, do 14-year-old sons pay attention to a lot of stuff?
Yeah, they pay attention to a lot.
Well, I'll tell you, your son is a good boy.
Yes, he is.
And he's a smart kid.
Yes, he is.
But he noticed this, right?
He says he did, yes.
And you didn't notice this?
No, I did not.
Or did you choose to ignore it?
I did not ignore it. I did not notice it.
And you told Children's Services everything was okay, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And it wasn't, was it?
Obviously not.
I think the jury's heard enough, Your Honor. No further questions.
Mr. Keenan, Ms. Scott, any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor, good question.
You heard Daniel testify here yesterday, correct?
Yes.
You heard Daniel when I was asking him questions about dates and when things happened. Do you recall hearing that?
Yes.
Okay. Did you recall hearing him or give testimony that he wasn't remembering exact dates?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Although he is a very smart child, very bright child,
Yes.
recalling dates, is that easy to do on any given occasion, especially after you've gone through a traumatic event such as this?
Yes, it is.
It is easy to do or easy to lose track of dates?
It is easy to lose track of dates.
Okay. Do you believe that Daniel was trying to testify honestly?
I believe he was trying to, yes.
Okay.
Objection, Your Honor, that's an improper question. The answer is up to the jury to determine credibility of the witnesses.
Okay. Is it your testimony that Daniel was not recalling the proper dates in regards to him providing urine for you for your friend?
Yes, I do. He think he was mistaken on those dates.
You were asked about violating your promise in regards to Children's Services, in regards to Jessica staying at the home overnight when she was not supposed to be there. Do you recall giving that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. What did you tell Patricia Kraft about that incident or incidents?
About her staying in the home?
Yes.
I told Patricia that I had allowed her to stay there a couple of nights because it was very cold and that she didn't have nowhere to go, and I was concerned about her staying out in the cold, which she had told me she had done a couple of times.
Okay. That was reported?
Yes. I reported it to Patricia Kraft. Whether she reported it or not, I don't know. She didn't report a lot, I said.
Let's talk about the crying and the hitting that you described to Detective Conkle, could you please explain to the court what you were trying to say in regards to, you were trying to give an answer in regards to making mistakes and whether or not you had stopped that behavior or what you had done about that behavior or what you thought about that behavior. Could you please tell the court what you were trying to answer in regards to that?
I told him that about me making mistakes.
Making mistakes, stopping Jessica's behavior, keeping her away from the baby, it was around that line of questioning in regards to, did you believe that she was injuring the baby?
No, I did not believe that she was doing nothing to injure the baby, no. And I had talked with her and told her, and had conversations with her, and she apologized and agreed that she would do better, and I never saw no more outbursts in her because she was going through treatment. I thought she was doing good.
Were you aware of any injuries that the baby had sustained as a result of Jessica hitting or striking the baby?
No, I checked him out. There was not even a red mark.
Did you form an opinion about Dylan's injuries or suspicion of injuries after you checked him out?
Yes, I come to the conclusion that he was fine.
You were asked about whether or not Dylan was wearing the same item of clothing as when he passed away, as to when he had the blanket wrapped around him and wrapped in plastic. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, to my knowledge, he was not changed at all.
Okay. And let's talk about what you were telling Children's Services after baby Dylan passed away. Were you being honest with them?
No, I was not.
Why were you not being honest with them?
Because I was afraid that I would get the blame for it completely.
What was Jessica saying at that point in regards to Children's Services and reporting to Children's Services and coming to court and missing court dates? What was she saying you should do?
About reporting...
About going to Children's Services, reporting Dylan's death to Children's Services, showing up for court appearances, how to explain where Dylan was.
After his death?
Yes.
She was just threatening me about blaming it on me, and she was just saying that she was not going to go to any more appointments after that.
What about court appearances?
She didn't want to go to any court appearances after that.
What about meeting with Patricia Kraft?
She did not want to meet with Patricia Kraft.
You were asked about whether or not you thought the baby just died. What is your opinion about that?
What is my opinion about him? I thought he just died.
Yes.
I thought that he had just died from something. I had no clue that he had sustained any injuries to cause his death. There was nothing to make me believe that. Nothing at all.
How did his scalp or head appear when you found that Dylan had passed away?
It was completely fine. There was no bruising or swelling on it at all.
The picture and the photograph that we were shown, taken as part of his autopsy, is that how Dylan's scalp appeared when you first discovered that he had passed away?
No.
The chest, did you unzip his zipper on his sleeper?
When he passed away?
Yes.
Yeah, I unzipped him and looked him over.
I'm sorry?
I unzipped the front of his sleeper and looked him over in his chest and stuff like that, yes.
Okay. Did you see any of that purple or red mark
No.
on his chest?
No, I did not.
did you observe anything, or did you form an opinion in regards to how baby Dylan had passed away after you discovered that he had passed?
The only thing that I could come to the conclusion of was SIDS.
Just, Your Honor, as to the opinion of the layperson is not allowed to make.
He can testify as to what his belief was at the time.
But if that was the case, why then did you not call the police? Because SIDS would have been a perfectly accountable explanation.
Because of being involved with CPS and for my wife threatening to blame me.
Did you then, at that point in time, did you form a different opinion about how he may have passed away?
No, I didn't.
Did you form an opinion once she started threatening you to blame you for his death that maybe she caused his death?
No, I did not.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Questions?
No further questions.
Mr. Stratton, any recross?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Alrighty, that concludes the testimony of Daniel. Dang, I was really looking forward to the other attorney crossing him instead of this one, but it's okay. I guess we needed to cool down from the intensity of Jessica's cross. So one thing I wanted to point out is about how, like Xander's, you're saying that to leave the sun out of it. I don't feel as though, I mean, I might just be like kind of maybe ignoring that side of it or something. Maybe I'm just not seeing what you're seeing. I don't really feel like they're like dragging him into it too much or trying to blame him. The only parts that stood out to me was that they were using the son's testimony as a reminder to the jury of the extensive exterior injuries to the child, and then asking Daniel and grilling into him, how could you not have seen what your son saw? I don't think they were like saying that the son, I don't think the son was really, they were dragging him in to like blame him or anything like that. Again, maybe I just like missed it and wasn't focusing on that, while watching it, we're all like picking out different things. So I'm always interested to hear that. But all I really saw was just reminding us that his head was black and blue and things like that. And then somehow Daniel had no idea that that was the case at any point. So, and going on that note, when you do have good lawyers when you have good lawyers, it's interesting to hear one side and then the other, because I feel like sometimes when I hear them, I'm like, oh, good point, from the defense. And then on the other side, I'm like, oh, wow, good point. Now you just changed my mind again from the prosecution. In this example, his defense attorney was actually initially like convincing me like, oh yeah, he didn't really have that much of a part. And, he didn't really know, and whatever the case was. But then by the time you hear the prosecution come up, which is another good attorney, then you hear him convincing you, like reminding you of things throughout the trial that slipped my mind, or I wasn't connecting myself, that convinced me, no, maybe he should have known a bit more, reminding us of those exterior injuries that the other son testified to, and reminding us that he was the sole provider, or not provider, but caregiver for the infant at the time, due to the court saying that, and Jessica not being allowed to live in the home and things like that. So if he did witness instances of harm to his child and then let her in the home when she did not really have custody of him, I mean, those are really good points to bring up, and then it kind of reconvinced me, no, you're right. Like he did have a part in it. Like, sure, maybe he didn't physically do it, but he was allowing someone around that he knew was or could be abusive. And at least from my standpoint, I definitely, I can't handle when people lay hands on children, even in the slightest. So, especially an infant that is so defenseless, I just can't imagine allowing that person around that child, especially by themselves at any point. after seeing such a thing. Like, that would just absolutely break my heart. So again, everyone's different. It's hard to say I would do this, they would do that, but those were just things that stood out to me within his testimony. And I think I've finalized my conclusion on his testimony as, you know, he could have prevented it a bit more by taking those stances against her, things like that. It does make me wonder if she was maybe a provider of his substances that he used, because at this point, that's kind of all I can really conclude. Again, I'm not trying to downplay like their love for each other or anything, but that would make more sense, right? If she was maybe the provider of his substances for his abuse. And that's why he allowed her back in the home. That's why he turned a blind eye to things. That's why he didn't seem to take that much of a stance. And simply prioritize that over his own son. But who knows? I do not know that for a fact. That's simply speculation and just food for thought. But that's about it for this. So we listened to Jessica and Daniel's testimony today, and then we heard his interrogation and a jail call of Jessica. So we got a really, really, really good glimpse into where their mindsets were and where their mindsets are after the fact as well, since they took the stand foolishly enough. So yeah. So tomorrow we will conclude the trial with the closings. As far as I saw, it looked like it could get pretty intense again. So I'm definitely excited to see the prosecution lay into that one. Should be telling for sure. And I'm assuming that Jessica's attorney is going to be one of few words again. So we will conclude with that tomorrow, and then watch the verdict as well to see kind of their reactions and how they internalize the verdict. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for being amazing as always, and have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you at 1 p.m. EST tomorrow.